It is Monday, August the 17th, and the NFL preview shows, we just keep tossing them out to you guys. We got so much more to preview before the 2026 season kicks off. As a matter of fact, we even have our first AP Top 25 for college football to talk about tonight. So kick back, relax, because another edition of Unbiased is live, and it starts. Tyler, what time does that start again?
Right about now.
Good call.
Lights, flash, crowds alive. Feel the pulse, we're taking flight. Sam and Tyler on the mic, ready to ignite the night. From the track to the field, we're diving into the thrill. No bias in the air, just the sound that gives a chill. Every match, every game, we break it down to the core. Sam and Tyler raise the stakes, always asking for more. Can you feel the heat? This is where we stand. Champions on our feet. We're unbiased, hear the roar. No limits in this game we play. Through the highs and lows, we rise and play the right way. Together we ignite the fire, fueled by every cheer and shout. Unbiased, that's our anthem. No doubt, unbiased, we stand strong. Together we will carry on with every game, with every song. United we belong. Unbiased, unbiased, that's our anthem. No doubt.
Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back into another edition of Unbiased, of course, the official flagship show of 609 Sports Talk Radio, coming to you guys live tonight on a beautiful Monday evening to bring you all the unbiased sports talk that you guys deserve. And as always, we are your hosts, Sam Nelson, Tyler Adams. Tyler, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Well, it's a happy Monday for me when you're on vacation, but for you, not so much. But it's okay. How we doing tonight?
Oh, can't complain. I'm going to still assert that this is another Victory Monday heading into this 2026 NFL season.
Of course you will. Hey, well, look, Carol gave it the seal of approval. We have to go with it. It's what Carol says goes, and when she declares it a Victory Monday, we got to say it's a Victory Monday. And it's always a Victory Monday because guess what? Each week that it's Monday, that means we're just a week closer to football season.
Everybody wins.
Exactly. We're all winners until week 2.
Yep.
With that being said, we have a jam-packed show tonight. We are going to talk some college football. Yes, the preseason AP Top 25 was released this afternoon. We're going to give our thoughts on it. I got some issues, and they're not small issues. There's some big issues, so we'll talk about that later in the show. We are going to continue our top 10 reveal list tonight. Tonight we will reveal our top 10 tight ends heading into the 2026 season. But we are going to kick off tonight's show with what we've been kicking off every show for the past month plus, another division preview. And tonight, we are going to preview the AFC West. Now, this is a very interesting division. Of course, you have Kansas City Chiefs with a now 100% healthy Patrick Mahomes. You have the rebuilding Las Vegas Raiders, who still have Max Crosby after a very interesting offseason, and their quarterback of the future and Fernando Mendoza. You have the Chargers with Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, and a very solid football team over there. Mike McDaniel, but now at the offensive coordinator position. But then you have probably what is the most complete team in that division, Sean Payton, Bo Nix, that elite defense, and the Denver Broncos. Tyler, this could shape up to be one of the more, in my opinion, interesting divisions in 2026. But where would you like to start this show off tonight? Who do we want to talk about first?
I think we should open up with the reigning, reigning AFC West champs from last year.
Yep.
They fell a little bit short due to Bo Nix being injured and their hopes to win the AFC Championship game. But, I mean, this is the team that's been on the heels of Kansas City for the last couple of years now. And last year, granted, if you want to try to, say that it was, okay, Mahomes got hurt, the Chiefs were out of contention after that point. The Chargers, they put up an 11-win season too. They weren't too far behind, but we all know the Chargers by this point, and we do not trust them in the postseason at all. But the Broncos, oh yeah. Broncos coming off of a great year last year. That defense is phenomenal. Sean Payton has really turned this team around, gave them more consistency, and Bo Nix hopefully coming back off of the injury. He's just going to pick up right where he left off. Another guy injured every year of his career, J.K. Dobbins. When he's on the field, he's phenomenal. You can't find more quality running backs than him when he is healthy, but it's just the fact that we barely get to see him for more than half of a season.
True.
Do you like the prospect of R.J. Harvey going into his second year? He came in, he had to shoulder a lot of that load with Dobbins going out. They made the trade for Jalen Waddle, bolster up the receiving room, pair him with Courtland Sutton. Still got, Marvin Mims, whatever you get from him. And the tight end room, they did, I think Evan Ingram, is this his first year in Denver? Second year in Denver. So he was with them last year as well. And again, I expect him to have a pretty solid year as well there. And the offensive line, I mean, they've got a really good unit. I mean, a lot of really solid players. Quinn Miners, he's one of the better guards in the league. Got Mike McGlinchey, Garrett Bowles, Ben Powers, Luke Wattenberg's not a terrible center. This team is probably one of the more loaded on both sides of the football from top to bottom. They're not a perfect team by any means, but they definitely are very well coached, and it shows up throughout the course of the season. Obviously, with last year, them only losing 3 games throughout the regular season.
They should be, in my opinion, one of the favorites in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl.
They're on a short
And
list. That's for sure.
I get New England's going to be the heavy favorite since they were there last year. They got A.J. Brown. They got Romeo Doubs. They made a lot of additions. But I still think if Bo Nix plays in that AFC Championship game last year, not just the AFC Championship game, I think the outcome of the entire season could have been different. Because if you want to remember this again, the Seattle Seahawks and their offense did not play that great in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Patriots, their defense held their own against the Seahawks. I still think the Denver Broncos had a very good chance of winning a Super Bowl last year if Bo Nix never got hurt. I'm going to take that all the way to the grave. I think a healthy Bo Nix may win the Broncos the Super Bowl last year.
I can't argue with you on that because throughout the season, they had a lot of games where it was, the scoring was in the teens. They were winning close games that were on the lower side. They weren't the highest scoring offense. They didn't blow you out, but that's because their defense did such a good job against top opponents, and their offense was able to score enough points. But when you subtract Bo Nix out of the equation, and you're left with, oh my God, who was it? Jared Stidham?
Yep.
That's where the problems start to arise. That's where their shortcomings were.
Yeah, because Jared Stidham just could not make enough plays in that AFC Championship game to put them in the Super Bowl.
And the reason is, he's not Nick Foles. There will never be another Nick Foles.
Everybody is so hung up on that. Everybody is still looking for the next Nick Foles.
Yeah.
10 years
Everyone's
later?
looking for Nick Foles did it. Why can't this guy do it?
There will never be
lightning
another
doesn't strike
situation.
twice. That's the saying.
Exactly.
It's
But no,
not gonna
I
happen.
am still I am going to continue to say I'll probably say it on the show 10 more times. I think if Bo Nix was healthy last year, that the entire NFL season has a different outcome.
Oh yeah,
I believe Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos could have won the Super Bowl last year if he didn't get hurt. Because that defense, you thought New England's defense was good against the Seahawks. What do you think Denver's would have done? Good evening, Adrian.
What's up, Adrian?
But yeah, I firmly believe that the Broncos had the best shot at winning the Super Bowl before Bo Nix got hurt. Taking nothing away from Seattle, great season. I just think the Broncos matched up with Seattle a lot better than New England.
Yep. Definitely very similar teams. I mean, elite defense and then an offense where you usually just expect to get just enough.
But yeah, what's up, Carol?
What's going on, Carol?
But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying now. Look, did the Seahawks still win the Super Bowl last year? Rightfully so, they could have. I think it would have been a lot more of a defensive dogfight than what we saw in the Super Bowl. Like, do I think Kenneth Walker has the big game against Denver's defense that he did in the Super Bowl? I don't know.
Yeah. Not saying they would have shut him down, but, would he have, exploded the way that he did against New England? Not sure.
Well, why we're talking, let's talk about Bo Nix for a second here. I mean, there's a guy, 2 very strong years to start his career. Rookie season, over 3,700 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Last year, 3,931 yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Yards per game went up from 222 in his rookie year to 231.
Yeah.
Passer rating was actually down to 87.8 compared to 93.3 in his rookie year, and his completion percentage went down slightly in his second year from 66.3 to 63.4, but he did also attempt more passes in year 2 compared to year 1.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, a lot of people laughed at Bo Nix when he was drafted by the Broncos. I think a lot of us questioned, was he worthy of a first-round pick? But I really think that was the move that became the outlier of, if a certain coach goes into the draft and says, this guy can be my guy, I can work with him, that's the draft pick that did it. That's why I understand that people want to laugh at Ty Simpson. That's great. If Sean McVay thinks he can get something out of Ty Simpson, who are we to not believe he can't?
Mm-hmm.
Last time I checked, Sean McVay's a pretty good damn head coach. He's won a Super Bowl in this league. Sean Payton has won a Super Bowl in this league.
Yep. 2 offensive masterminds in their own right. I mean,
exactly.
If they see something in a guy, you just got to go with it and trust him.
How many passing records does Drew Brees have?
It feels like almost all of them.
Got a pretty good head coach in New Orleans last time I checked.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix is the perfect style of quarterback for Sean Payton and what he wants to run.
Yeah.
So I think if Bo Nix is fully recovered from that ankle injury and he's 100% and he's ready to go, already putting up solid numbers with, I don't want to say a below average receiving core, but it feels like a receiving core that was missing that number 1. I think Cortland Sutton is a very good 2, but if I'm putting a tier of wide receiver 1s, I am probably having him a little lower than what some people may agree with me on. I'm not saying he's a bad wide receiver, but if he's my best wide receiver, it's not Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson type of passing attack with this offense. But now you put him with Jalen Waddle, that duo could do some damage.
Yeah, a guy who's been waiting to get his shot at being the number 1 receiver on his team, had to kind of almost sit in the shadow of Tyreek Hill, but he did have a lot of success throughout his first 3 years, and then the last couple of years on the downside, and that's a lot to do with, having 3 to 4 different quarterbacks throughout the course of a season. That doesn't help. So he's going to benefit from the consistency of having Bo Nix healthy, and Bo Nix is going to benefit by having him as his wide receiver 1 and Cortland Sutton as wide receiver 2. And then not to mention, like I briefly said earlier about the offensive line, I mean, first 2 years of Bo Nix's career, he was sacked 24 times and 22 times. They usually keep the pocket clean for him.
That's one of the best offensive lines of football right there.
It is.
And then also, if you look at the pass catchers outside of those top two, we know we brought up Waddle, we brought up Sutton. They got a decent group of role players around there, too. Troy Franklin, like you brought up Evan Ingram. Pat Bryant last year in his rookie year. They've got a very solid group of pass catchers. And I really think that this Broncos team, how many teams in the AFC do you think are light years better than them? I don't even know. They still may be my favorite in the AFC. Not just the AFC West, the entire AFC.
The entire AFC, I would, in current standing, I would put them higher than New England.
I may still too, because I really do think I think the sole reason that New England was in that Super Bowl was because Jarrett Stidham was starting in the AFC title game.
Yeah. I think the two most complete teams in the entire AFC are New England and Denver. And I'm putting Denver just a little bit ahead.
Exactly. So, I, for one, think that Denver has the best shot. Denver's my favorite in their division. I know this is an AFC West preview, but they're clearly my favorite to win that division. And I think they're going to be one of my favorites to go to the Super Bowl. They have one of the top defenses in the league. I think I had them at 4 or 5, maybe.
Yep.
And Nancy, that's the point. Now,
Yeah.
Frank,
and
so now
that and the fact that I don't think Cortland Sutton is a true number 1. I think he's a lower end 1, but will benefit from being a really good number 2. So that's kind of the trickle-down effect where Cortland Sutton was asked to be the main guy. And then Troy Franklin, like you said, not really a guy I would consider number 2, but a very good number 3 in that receiving room. Now everything kind of falls into place now that they traded for Waddle.
Yeah, here's a code one from Fighting Philly. Waddle finally has a quarterback who will stay on the field.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? The thing with Troy Franklin, what I like about him so much, they drafted him in the 4th round in 2024. Why? Bo Nix, drafted the same year in the 1st round. Why? Because Troy Franklin went and played with Bo Nix at Oregon. This is what I say when you draft a quarterback in the 1st round. If they have good wide receivers at that school coming out that same year, I don't care where it is, 5th round, 7th round, 2nd round, I don't care. Draft one of them. You not only have you drafted your quarterback of the future, you have drafted somebody who he has a chemistry with, who he has a rapport with already. I'm sorry, if I was the Raiders, I would have had Elijah Surratt on my team within the first 3 rounds of the draft after I took Mendoza.
Because you saw where he ended up falling to anyways, so they definitely could have made the move for him.
Exactly. But if I am drafting a quarterback, I am trying to find one of his weapons from the school I just took him from, so he has somebody in the building that he is familiar with.
Yep.
It is an underrated thing that nobody thinks about. Look at it. I mean, now, granted, the Eagles were a little different. Remember, they had their eyes on CD. I'm sure if they took CD, they were still going to take Jalen in round 2.
Yeah.
And they both played together in Oklahoma. But yeah, I would always try that if I was a team. If you have a 3rd or a 4th round pick, if the guy was a wide receiver 1 in college, but he's not going to be that in the NFL, okay. But still, it puts somebody around the player that they are comfortable with, that they know, that they are used to, that they've shared a football field with. especially a team like Indiana last year with Mendoza, a team that just won. Look at do we have to talk about the freaking Eagles defense? The whole Georgia defense was on the team at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that go to college and win together, they can bring that culture to an NFL team. You bring in the two best defensive tackles from the 21 Bulldogs to one city. They won a Super Bowl with those two, along with Kobe Dean and Nolan Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw Keely Ringo in there, but that's a very generous throw in there, especially after what I saw on Saturday.
Special team honorable mention.
He was all right as a starter in college, but that's my point.
In college, exactly.
Starter in college doesn't mean you're a starter in the NFL, but still, it's still a guy you have a chemistry with. And that is why they brought Troy Franklin to Denver with Bo Nix. It was somebody that he had a rapport with already that they were hoping would help him. And Franklin's been fine. And Anthony, I think, put it perfectly. If Franklin's your 2, you're probably not there yet. If he's your 3, that's cool, because now Sutton's your 2.
Yeah.
Waddle's the 1. And we know Denver, they're going to pass the football. I know they're going to run the ball still. I know they still have Dobbins. They have R.J. Harvey. But again, Dobbins' durability is always a question mark. That's a question mark the minute the first snap of the season hits.
Yeah. And Harvey's still, they like to use him as that two-way threat as well, receiving and running. So I definitely see a heavy majority of passing, which, Sean Payton's typically known for.
Yeah. So I think that receiver room got I think, a big-time upgrade this offseason. I think Waddle's just going to make them so much better as an offense because now it's not that you didn't have to do it with Courtland Sutton, but now it is somebody who is going to command a lot of attention. And same thing people say, oh, Waddle had those big years in Miami because of Tyreek Hill. Okay, well, it's the same thing as in every other one. Would Jamar Chase be Jamar Chase without T. Higgins opposite of him? Would A.J. Brown be A.J. Brown without Devontae Smith opposite of him? Would Tyreek Hill have been Tyreek Hill without Jalen Waddle? Oh, well, he did it in Kansas City. Yeah, and he had Travis Kelce over there, too, and Patrick Mahomes. So let's talk now for a second. Now, Tyreek did put up his numbers in Miami, but again, I hate that conversation. Oh, this guy was only a 1 because of this, or he only put this amount of yards because of that. The guy put up yards because he's a damn good football player. Jalen Waddle can be a 1 on a winning team. I strongly believe that.
Easily. I can easily see him coming in this first year. I'm not going to say anything crazy. I think we could see him with 1,100 yards. I think Courtland Sutton will probably be in the 900 range since he's dropping back to the wide receiver 2. And I think Franklin's still going to get you probably like 500 to 600 yards. And that's not even accounting for Evan Ingram.
Don't forget Pat Bryant, who's probably their wide receiver 4. He was a rookie last year. He put up almost 400.
Yeah.
So if they're splitting out 4 or 5 wide, good luck. Who are you covering now? And this was already a big issue last year before they got Waddle. They were still able to space the ball out. And that's the thing. I don't think Waddle is that number 1 to where, like, they're not going to be able to space the ball out to everybody else. I think it's still going to be able to be ball goes to the open guy. Jalen Waddle doesn't come across to me as a guy who, okay, Jalen Waddle's not going to A.J. Brown the Denver Broncos, okay? I'm just going to say it. He's not going to come out in week 1, have 85 yards and a touchdown, but if Troy Franklin has 5 for 115, oh, using me but not using me. He's not going to do stuff like that. I feel like it's a perfect match. Bo Nix needed another wide receiver, but I didn't think they needed to get one like A.J. Brown. Like, I feel like Jalen Waddle is just the perfect fit for that offense.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, Anthony. Bo Nix has a cannon. And again, like we said earlier, people talk about him and, oh, was he worthy of first-round pick? Just shown that he is. I remember some of us were questioning it. I think some of us even were kind of laughing at it. We were.
Yeah.
But once again,
sold on it.
Exactly. None of us are completely sold on it. But once again, Sean Payton said, okay, watch this. Bo Nix has been one of the better quarterbacks in the league over his first 2 years of his career. And we haven't even started talking about the other side of the football with this team because that's the bread and butter. That's the bread and butter of this team. Offensively, we know what they're going to do. But defensively, that offense could have an off week or two. That defense that is a carry you to the Super Bowl type of defense.
Oh, yeah.
If I had to think of 4 teams that I said their quarterback play is so bad, but that defense could pull a 2001 Ravens and basically carry you to a Super Bowl. I'm not comparing them to the 2001 Ravens. I'm saying if your quarterback was that bad in a season, but your defense could carry you to a Super Bowl, it's the Broncos, it's the Philadelphia Eagles, it's the Seattle Seahawks, and it's the Houston Texans. Those 4 defenses, they could carry you to a Super Bowl. Don't take offense to it, my people in LA. I haven't seen your defense on the field yet. You can put the best names on a football field. That doesn't mean it makes them the best team. So please do not come after me in the comments over it, okay? But I mean, they're led by some of the best defensive players in the league and the best corner in the league on your team. You got Hufanga at safety.
Yeah.
Got Nick Bonito. It looks like Jonathan Cooper's playing week 1, right? We have no updates on that whole situation.
I haven't heard anything.
So you got Zach Allen, who they took away from Arizona. That defense is one of the scariest units in the league. I mean, Zach Allen, he was solid in Arizona, but since he got to Denver, he's boosted his whole career over there.
Yeah, his best years have come in Denver for sure. I mean,
7 sacks last year, 8.5 the year before.
Yeah, there's just so many different guys that can get after the quarterback there.
I guess the one maybe weakness you could say is slightly against the run, and it's not even that, it's like slightly. For a new commenter, I'm going to post that.
Love it. Kansas City Cheeks.
Courtney, that's a great comment. That's a great comment. Courtney, thanks for checking out the show.
Welcome in.
Do us a favor, if you can so kindly, hit that subscribe button, and please comment your team in the comments. We want to know who you represent. We love to hear from fans from all over the place. We love all of it. We are here for all the talk, for all NFL fans everywhere. Or just sports fans in general. But no, I think this Denver Broncos team, they have got to be a favorite to go back to go to the Super Bowl. Not go back, but go back to the AFC Championship game. Yes. Yeah. Because, again, the offense, I think they got upgraded a lot just with getting Jalen Waddle.
They completed their receiving room. I mean, last year watching them play, everything seemed like it was smooth enough, but you could see some of the shortcomings with the offensive playmakers being in the receiving room. Sometimes, when Courtland Sutton's not able to get open, if he's getting shut down in a game, who was the next guy up? Franklin would struggle sometimes. Pat Bryant would sometimes struggle. We know Marvin Mims struggles. There's a reason why he was never able to, come into a bigger role as, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. But now bringing in Waddle, I think this puts everyone perfectly in their position where they need to be. Waddle at the 1, going to have Courtland Sutton as the 2, still could be a low-end 1 on other teams in the league. And then Troy Franklin as the 3, coming off of his really good second year. I think they're going to move the ball very well this year. A lot better than we saw last year. I think we'll see Bo Nix throw easily for over 4,000 yards this year. I mean, he almost did it last year with what he did have. Now that I think they're more complete, I definitely think he easily eclipses that. And the biggest thing, I just hope J.K. Dobbins can play the whole season. We have yet to see him complete a 17-game season. in his career.
I agree. Dobbins, again, another great Ohio State running back, but dude just cannot stay healthy. So, if you're looking at this Broncos defense, right? Or if you just look at this Broncos team as a whole, who is a big wild card on that team? Like, who is a guy that could have a big year in 2026, and you're just like, yeah, this team won't be stopped if this is the kind of if this guy just steps up and has a big year. Who would that be for you? It could be on either side of the football. Please don't steal mine.
I don't want to go with something that's obvious
Okay.
because we know what Pat Surtain's gonna do. We know. We know what Nick Bonito's gonna do. I'm gonna say I want to go over to the offensive side of the ball.
Okay, we're good.
I want to say RJ Harvey. If he can take the next step this year and command more of the snap count, which I think he will with his versatility as a pass catcher out of the backfield as well as a runner, I think he could be a difference maker and a big playmaker for them.
I like that. And again, look, no offense again, J.K. Dobbins, his durability issues, R.J. Harvey's going to get plenty of touches.
Mm-hmm.
He had 540 rushing yards last year as a rookie, 356 receiving yards, 12 total touchdowns as a rookie. I think R.J. Harvey may be the starter.
I think he might be. I mean, the fact that you need to try to keep J.K. Dobbins healthy so you at least have him in the rotation, you're not going to want to start him.
It may benefit J.K. Dobbins as he kind of takes that number 2 running back spot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mine is on the other side of the football. I'm going to go over to the defensive side, and I'm going to go into the secondary, and I'm going to go with Jahdae Barron. Second-year player. Played at Texas, was part of a loaded Texas Longhorns defense just 2 years ago.
Okay.
Look, he had 33 tackles, 1 interception last year, appeared in all 17 games, started 5. But again, rookie, guys ahead of him on the depth chart. I don't mean to disrespect Riley Moss. I think Riley is a very solid corner, but every game I watched last year from the Broncos,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I watched Riley Moss get flagged at least 3 times a game.
Let's just say there's a reason they drafted Jahdae Barron in the first round of last year's draft.
That's not a bad one either, Anthony. If Hufanga has a big year, the secondary's loaded between Barron, Hufanga, Surtain, Brandon Jones. They've got a loaded secondary. I just kind of look at Hufanga as like, he's a vet. He's been around a while. I kind of expect what I get from him by now. But it's just, I feel like, again, Riley Moss, every game I watch, I was watching get called for PI all over the field. Yeah. And a lot of them set them up in bad field positioning inside their own territory, sometimes inside their own red zone.
Yeah.
You can't give teams in the playoffs free shots at your end zone. You can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, for whatever it's worth, Jahdae Barron did have a pick 6 in the preseason game over the weekend.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have a very big role going into the season for them.
Yeah, because if he takes that next step, I mean, hopefully he does get that starting nod with Surtain. And if you're looking at those two as possibly your outside corners, week in, week out, as an offensive coordinator, I'm worried.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a really good. I think that's a loaded secondary already. And if Barron takes a big leap in year 2, it's even better because you already got the best corner in the damn league on your team.
Yeah.
But, all right, let's move on to another team. Courtney brought it up in the comments earlier. Sort of, kind of. Let's talk about those Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, the team that has dominated and been the kings of the AFC West for,
A
can
bit.
you help me out? How many years? It felt
5,
never
6,
ending.
7. Is that about? Yeah, pretty much.
Felt never ending.
Kind of goes back to before Mahomes even showed up.
It does, yeah. Alex Smith they were winning the division with.
Yeah, they weren't bad with Alex Smith either.
Mm-hmm. So glad you picked this team to talk about next because very interesting one. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes. Love him or hate him, he is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. He's proven it year over year. And coming off of what was a very slow start to the season for the Chiefs team as a whole, and then to add on top of that with a season ending injury to Patrick Mahomes. I'm not looking at them having a down year again. I mean, you could tell me they don't have the playmakers in the receiving room. You could tell me they don't got the running back prowess. I've seen them win with the same or less before. And it all hinges on if the one person, Patrick Mahomes, is on the field or not. Defensively, Spagnuolo, whoever he's got out there, they're usually going to play pretty damn well. They're not going to be one of the top defenses in the league, but they're going to be very stingy, and they'll do enough to make sure that the offense can secure some wins. They could easily win this division this year. I mean, I know we talked about how good we think the Broncos will be, and we'll give our predictions for records later on here. But I could see Denver dropping maybe, 3 to 4 games this year. I mean, with how well they played last year, their schedule might be slightly more difficult. And the last thing we need is for the Chiefs to get an easier schedule. But this is definitely a team where I'm looking at them being right there on the heels of Denver, trying to win that division. Although they may fall short, but they're definitely my second favorite in this AFC West.
I don't hate that because that is still a team that no matter, like you said, as long as 15 is under center, it doesn't matter. As long as Patrick Mahomes is under center, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They are
And
always
it's
going to
not-
have a shot.
Yeah, and it's not like they tried to just say, all right, let's run it back with what we got. They knew that their running back room stunk. What'd they do? They went out and paid Kenneth Walker.
Which I think adds such a different level to that offense, which desperately needed a consistent run game. Isaiah Pacheco was not the running back we thought he was going to be after that injury. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was, I don't even know what Clyde Edwards-Helaire ever was, but and fighting Philly, I agree. And I hate saying this because this is coming from last time my team saw the Chiefs, we had a fun time, but he's right. See, this is the thing. I do not want to discredit this team because if they are healthy, they can still be scary. What does concern me with the Chiefs is the offensive line.
Always.
And with Patrick Mahomes coming off that knee injury, and I'm sure look, we've seen the practice tape. He's moving well, looks good. That offensive line has been a big issue now for at least 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm still high on Josh Simmons, who they took out of Ohio State last year. I think now a year removed from his injuries at Ohio State, I think he could have a big second year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trey Smith is still one of the top interior offensive linemen in the league, but I feel like he kind of gets overrated a little bit.
Yeah,
I think he's still solid.
he is. I think Creed Humphrey's top 3 and not 3.
I would say Creed Humphrey is the best. To me, in my opinion, Creed Humphrey is the best offensive lineman on that team.
Oh yeah, definitely on that team.
But that offensive line has been such an issue for them for so long now. They have got to get it figured out.
Yeah, and the reason why it gets masked sometimes is because of how good Mahomes is at getting out of the pocket, moving on the run, and making plays. Because when you look at Mahomes' numbers, how often he gets sacked, it's usually consistent in the in the 30 range each season. But it's how many times that he does have to scramble out of the pocket and escape pressure because that offensive line just is not anywhere close to, I wouldn't even say elite, being called good. They have a couple of elite players, but they do not have enough to play as a complete unit.
No, I mean, their right tackle position right now, they have tried every type of pick whatever free agent they've tried, and none of it's worked.
Yep.
So I mean, I was just actually given a little bit of a scroll looking at what their projected O line's looking like. It's probably going to be Josh Simmons will start at the left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Kingsley, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name.
Matia, I've never heard of him before.
He'll be at left guard, and from what Chiefs fans were saying on Twitter last year, it wasn't great. Creed at center, Trey at the right guard, and the battle at right tackles between Jalen Moore and training camp riser Khalil Benson.
So they're screwed.
That offensive line is still going to be an issue. And like you said, you just brought it up, how they've been able to mask it with Patrick Mahomes and his way to move the pocket and get out on the run. How much of his mobility will be back by week 1? I know he's been cleared and he's running around at training camp. It's easy to run around when there's nobody running after you.
Yeah, when guys aren't trying to hit you.
And also more not allowed to hit you.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, not allowed to.
So how much of that mobility will be back by week 1? And I'm not look. Do I think Patrick Mahomes as a passer is going to decline because he tore his ACL? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But with the way he's been able to move and shift the pocket throughout his career, will that take some time to fully come back because of the knee injury? How much of his mobility will be back come September? I know he just got. I mean, look, it wasn't like it was like mid-season.
Yeah, he played. Hold on, he played in 14 games out of 17. He almost played the whole damn season.
Yeah, so it's not like it's been, because the recovery time for a torn ACL is 9 to 12 months. This has not been 12 months.
Yeah.
So, and again,
missed like a month of football.
Exactly. So, again, the question is, how much of that mobility comes back right away? Like, how much of that mobility can he get back early in the season, and so he can still be able to shift the pocket, move the pocket, and continue to mask what I still think is a below-average offensive line?
Yeah.
I think it has pieces. I like Josh Simmons still. I'm still very high on him. Like I said, year removed from the injuries during his final year at Ohio State, I think he's going to be ready to go. Creed Humphrey is a monster of a center, and he probably is the best center in football.
Yeah.
But everything else, Trey Smith, I like him. I don't think he is one of the better interior guards in football. I know he gets a lot of praise to being one. I personally think he is overrated a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. But left guard's an issue, and right tackle's still an issue. They've been trying to fix right tackle, it feels like, for 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've tried so many. I mean, Jawan Taylor, he was a walking holding penalty over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think the one thing we can agree on is that the run game should be so much more consistent with Kenneth Walker if, again, the offensive line is at least capable of run blocking consistently.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. I know Kenneth Walker, I know we like to get caught up in the Super Bowl MVP thing. I get that. Kenneth Walker only had 1,027 yards last year. It's not like he had 1,500.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people forget. I mean, it was Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. They were very equal in their roles in that backfield for them.
Kenneth Walker's never even rushed for 1,100 yards in a season yet.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
a good
trust
one.
me, last year was kind of his saving grace. I mean, a lot of Seahawks fans were not happy with his performances years
Wait,
prior.
was last year his saving grace, or was one game his saving grace?
You might be right.
Because
We're talking about one bad performance in that Super Bowl, and they end up losing. Not too many teams are probably on the phone for Kenneth Walker.
And now look, you see the trend in the NFL now. Running backs are getting paid again.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks still let him go.
Yeah.
And I still think Seahawks are going to be fine. Jadarian Price, I think, is going to be a really good running back. But like I said, Kenneth Walker is definitely going to help them. And I think in an Andy Reid offense, I think he could actually show the potential what we once thought he was going to be. Now, he's another guy. He's been banged up here and there. But I think Kenneth Walker really benefited from having Zach Charbonnet with him in that Seattle backfield. I just hope the Chiefs can find a way to keep him kind of in a tandem. Not to where it's like 60-40.
Yeah.
But you have somebody behind him that you still got to respect a little bit. Now, in terms of their pass catchers, I mean, nothing's changed.
I was waiting for you to get to this one. I mean, the one big thing is you need Rashee Rice to mature, stop being an idiot, and hopefully play the whole season. That's step one. Xavier Worthy, I think I don't know if I want to say it. You might say it. Has he peaked? Is this just all he's going to be? Like a 600 yard
Do you want me to
receiver
save you
in
the
league?
time?
Go ahead, please.
Xavier Worthy is not a good NFL wide receiver. There. I will save this show a ton of time. Xavier Worthy is not a good NFL wide receiver. He was awesome because he ran fast at the combine. That's great. So did John Ross.
Yeah. But one thing I do like is last year's acquisition of Tyquan Thornton from New England. He had 19 catches for 438 yards. He was a deep threat for them last year. He averaged 23 yards a catch. So hopefully, second year chemistry with the team with Mahomes. If Rashee Rice can play every single game, take more focus off of him. Hopefully he can carve out himself a nice role as well. He may take over as wide receiver too.
Yeah, and I mean, they drafted Cyrus Allen in the 5th round out of Cincinnati this past year.
Yeah.
I mean,
not too sure how much of an impact he's going to make early on. But, with how underwhelming Xavier Worthy's been, not saying it's impossible for anybody to take his job, to overstep him on the depth chart.
He is a good player to run some cool gadgety trick plays for, but he's not when people literally said that they found their Tyreek Hill replacement, I just laughed.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
There will never be another Tyreek Hill.
No, he won't be. And I don't understand why we continue just to hear these things. I really don't.
But they'll be fine. Adding in Travis Kelce as well, what's probably going to be his last year.
Will
the last
they?
3 years of his career, he's still been a reliable pass catcher. Probably expect to get 800 and 900 yards out of him. Who knows? maybe in his last year he hits 1,000 again.
He could, but
But it's really gonna hinge on Rashee Rice. That has been their guy where they basically put all the eggs into one basket with. You know, his rookie year looked good, played in 16 games, almost 80 catches, almost 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. 4 games the next season. Last year, 8 games. Injuries plus legal trouble, you name it. And here we are. So, hopefully he gets some of that stuff behind him. He can mature as a player and maybe turn into what the Chiefs kind of expect him to be in their number one receiver.
Hopefully, because if Rashee Rice gets he's one more incident away from, dude, the NFL can only protect you so long.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might keep hearing last year for the next 5 years.
Now he's a married man now. Now the wife tells him when it's time to retire.
True.
He'll be on tour with her all year after this year. He don't care about football anymore. He'll travel the world on tour.
Oh, man.
But the one part, you brought it up very early when we started talking about the Chiefs, their defense. That unit I still trust. I didn't have them in my top 10. I don't think they're one of the most talented defenses. But that defense has gotten old over the past few years.
Yes.
I think personally, if anybody remembers back when we did our draft shows and we did our draft recap show, I had the Chiefs as one of my big winners on draft weekend because let's look at the vets on the defense. Still have Chris Jones. Jack, actually, we're not. We are actually both, well, if you can't tell by my background who my team is, but
both Eagles fans, but we love us some NFL football. We cover it all.
Pretty much. We've picked a random division each week to preview, and we decided to just throw out our thoughts on the AFC West. Yeah, Jack, I am a very depressed Flyers fan, but you know what? They got a young team going into next season, and I'm excited for some Flyers hockey next year. So my background tells a lot, and these are just for pure decoration. Just in case anybody's wondering, this is just pure decoration.
Surprised you don't got the Miami Heat one up there.
I ain't got room for it. But going back to Steve Spagnuolo's defense, and you look at the vets that he still has Chris Jones, still has George Karlaftis. They brought over Tunga from New England to basically be like another nose tackle type. That'll help them a lot. He was actually very solid in the middle of New England's defense last year. Still got Nick Bolton at linebacker. Drew Tranquil's still over there, causing some havoc. Secondary, it needed some work in the offseason, as we know. Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson are now both LA Rams. But if you go back up to the defensive line. You know, Chris Jones, he's getting older. He's 32. Production it's dipped the past couple years.
It has, yeah.
So, what do? They draft Peter Woods in the first round this year. Peter Woods was one of the better interior defensive linemen in this year's draft out of Clemson. And I remember mock drafts having him ranked in the top 15 before, right after the draft the year prior. You know how after one draft they'll give you the way too early mock drafts? They had Peter Woods in that top 15. Oh, Jack, we haven't even gotten to your Raiders yet, so you popped in at the perfect time.
Oh,
We haven't gotten to the Raiders yet. Since you're in the chat, we'll get your Raiders up next.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, to segue off of your defensive line talk, they're hoping for Norman Lott to come recover from this ACL injury last year after week 7. He's going to be another future piece for him. Get them younger. I think he's going to be a future starter right next to Peter Woods. And then edge rusher, R. Mason Thomas, took him out of the draft this year, round 2. I think he's going to be an early contributor as well.
Please don't remind me. Because here's the thing. No, because here's the thing, right? George Karlaftis is your bull rushing edge rusher who's going to bully his way to the quarterback. The only thing that damn defensive line was missing was an athletic pass rusher. Or Mason Thomas. Go back and watch Oklahoma's defense last year. He was the best player on the field every single game they won. He wreaked havoc on everybody last year in college football. And I know how good Oklahoma's defense was because they had to keep their offense in the game every week after John Matier got hurt.
Yeah.
And they never recovered from John Matier getting hurt, by the way.
They did not.
And he came back too quick. But R. Mason Thomas and Peter Woods are literally future building blocks. That'll be the reason Spagnuolo never retires. Because they literally could just step right in and are day one impact guys. Oh, not to mention, you lose Trent McDuffie, you lose Jalen Watson. What do, Tyler?
Draft Mansour Delane.
Best corner in the draft.
Yeah. I really like what they've done. I mean, that's why I did have them in my top 10 list for defenses last week. I don't care that they lost McDuffie and they lost who was the other bum next to him? I never liked him.
Jalen Watson?
Yeah, Jalen Watson. Never liked him. Walking penalty flag. Got cooked in coverage too many times off of double moves. I really like the draft pick of Mansour Delane, and I do like bringing back L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, Sneed didn't have the greatest year or time in Tennessee in general. He only played 5 games in his first year with them and 7 in the second. So, got injured both years, but in his time with the Kansas City Chiefs, he was healthy, played all the games, contributed in all the games, and I think we're going to see him. He's only 29, it's not like he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Putting him back in that Spagnuolo system, I think he's going to be perfect next to Mansour Delane.
And I mean, look, they lost Brian Cook in free agency, but they did bring in Alohi Gilman, who last year with the Chargers, he was okay, but when he went over to Baltimore's defense, we talked about this. They were not good last year, but when Gilman got traded over there, he helped that Ravens defense kind of stabilize some things for the rest of the year. So I think Gilman is actually an upgrade over Brian Cook, who they lost to the Bengals in free agency. I think Gilman's going to help that secondary, especially on the back end. And I do like the L'Jarius Sneed pickup because, again, you're getting him cheap. I mean, look, he got that big contract in Tennessee for a reason. We know how good he was in Spags' system before he went over to Tennessee. And, like you brought up, they're going to have Mansour Delane on one side. Noel Williams, who's entering his second year out of Cal, they are very high on him. That's a young secondary. It's not bad to have a veteran who's been in Spags' system and who has had a lot of success in Spags' system to come over there and help solidify one of those corner spots.
And then not to mention Nick Bolton, one of the better middle linebackers in the league. I mean, tackling machine, reliable. He just does all the little things well.
So, yeah, I like this Chiefs defense heading into this season. I'm not sure how I feel about their offense yet because that offensive line and it's the lack of consistency with the pass-catching group. Rashee Rice has to stay on the football field, whether it's from injuries or off-field stuff. Travis Kelce, he's 36. What's he giving me now that he's 36? And, we got a second life basically going on with Travis Kelce at this point. Let's be real. So, and then, again, I'm not an Xavier Worthy guy. I just don't think he's that good of a wide receiver. I'm sorry, I just don't feel it. So the Chiefs, I still think, though, if they stay healthy, they could be a very interesting team. I'm very high on their defense because I think it has that good – you still have that core group that's been getting you to those Super Bowls, but now you got like a fresh crop of young talent. with Woods and Delane and R. Mason Thomas and Norman Lott, who you brought up, who they drafted last year, who's coming back from injury. I am very high on that Chiefs defense, and I think they could be a very big sleeper team. I can't believe I'm saying a team with Patrick Mahomes could be a sleeper team, but it's really just that offensive line has been so bad for like 3 years now. And I don't think they've done anything to fix it. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. But now, since Jack's in the chat, let's talk about his Raiders. And before we get to that, he had a question for us. He wanted to ask how do we feel now about the trade from last year, Jacorian Bennett for Thomas Booker? Jack, can I have Thomas Booker back?
Yeah, can we reverse the trade, please?
Can we reverse that trade? That trade was awful.
Man, I think it worked out well for you guys, though.
Jack, I'm a Penn State guy. So, I'll go there.
I don't like to always put claim to a team, but I do like the Longhorns.
Oh, you're gonna have real fun later on in the show. Then both of you
Oh,
are.
I bet I will, because I got some things to say about them too. Nobody ducks the criticism.
Real quickly, I also want to go back to Jack's comment here. He said Walker, running back for KC, is huge. It's really better to have kept Kelsey and KC if gone for his. Yeah, Jack. And the thing with Travis Kelsey is like, if they were to have like replenished their wide receiver room a bit, I would have loved Kelsey being in that spot now. I just don't trust their pass catchers. It's not Kelsey. The only thing that has me with Kelsey is the fact that is his age now. Is the fact that he's 36 years old. But the wide receivers, I'm not an Xavier Worthy guy. I like Rashee Rice when he's on the football field. Off the football field, I think he's kind of an idiot, but that's another story for another day. Jack, I'll say this. Booker probably has a lot better chance of making the Raiders roster than Jacorian Bennett does making the Eagles roster right about now.
Neither of them are both, world breakers, but Thomas Booker's got to be better than Jacorian Bennett for his position.
Jacorian Bennett may be the only corner worse than Keely Ringo, and that's saying something.
Because, Jacorian Bennett, I don't see him out there as a special teams ace. At least Keely Ringo's got that going for him.
And Jack, there's nothing wrong with what they did. I have no issue with what the Chiefs did. That defense, going back over the past 3 years, it's gotten older, it's gotten less athletic, and it's lost a lot of talent in free agency. Yeah. And that's what I like what they've done. Because now with Chris Jones getting older, you need to have a guy in the wings waiting. That's why they brought Peter Woods. They needed help at the edge rusher position. That's why they brought in R. Mason Thomas, who was one of my favorite edge rushers in college football last year. I did so much tape on him, and I was so disappointed that he went to the Chiefs because now he's a Chief. And Mansour Delane was was a top 10 talent in the draft. That's why the Chiefs traded up to get him. So I think that defense is going to be very improved just off of the young talent alone. Not to mention with the veterans you still have on that unit. Oh, Jack, he went downhill, all right.
Yeah, Jack, I remember Sam tried to sell me on Jacorian Bennett. Give him some time. He might work his way into the rotation. And we did get to see some on-field play from him. Was not enjoyable.
Unfortunately for Jacorian Bennett, he got traded here late in training camp. The problem was then he got hurt in the Rams game.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
By the time he came back, Adoree Jackson actually kind of solidified that side of the field. He actually started playing a lot better. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jack, I cannot defend the Tyree Wilson pick. That pick goes down in the gutters. But now, Tyler, Jack's heavy in the comments. Now let's get into the Raiders. How we feeling? Well, I'll kick us off, man. I know we got to talk about Mendoza Mania.
Yeah, hey, let's start on that side of the football. They got what they think is their guy of the future. I still don't believe Mendoza's going to get the day one start. I don't think it'll take too long for us to see him get some starts, though. I could see it happening as early as, week 5, as, late as week 8, halfway through the season. I'm so glad that they finally realized Chip Kelly was not a good offensive coordinator in the NFL. Chip Kelly is not a good anything in the NFL. He's had success in college. He should stay there. Ashton Genty. I'm really hoping that finally being able to escape Chip Kelly, he's able to build off of what was I would say a gritty year where he had to work really hard for the stats that he put up. 975 rushing yards, you could have fooled me. 5 rushing touchdowns. I mean,
whoa, back up. How many yards did Ashton Genty have?
975. Can you believe that?
I can't believe I didn't know if he had. I didn't even know he had that at all.
Here's the reason we didn't. There's the reason we didn't know that. He averaged 3.7. So like I said, he was grinding for every yard he got, and that was due to a lot of lack of offensive line play. Jack, let me know your thoughts as well. And obviously, Chip Kelly. Second the dude steps on an NFL football field, he forgets what he's doing. I'm just convinced by this point. He looks good down in college. He looked good. Where was he at? He was Ohio State, was he not? Before he went to the Raiders, he was the OC at Ohio State. Offense looked great there too. Comes to the NFL, stinks. Fighting Philly. Unfortunately, we do have to bring up Chip Kelly.
See what he said after that? He said Kevin Batula is bad enough.
Kevin Batula is bad enough.
And look, you got Jack to mutually agree with your thing on Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I think because, Kirk, he's a solid veteran. Not going to be, quarterback of the future. That's not happening. He knows what he signed up for coming to the Raiders here. It's pretty much a one-and-done deal. But I do like what they've done with the receiving room. I mean, you got Trey Tucker, brought in Jalen Naylor. Still got Jack Betch coming into his second year. Hopefully he can build off of that. And, of course, you have, we'll say, one of the top 2 tight ends in football, because there's a big debate on who is number 1 versus number 2. But he's definitely extremely talented. Hopefully he has a fully healthy year. I believe he missed about 5 games. He was
a little dinged up last year.
A little dinged up, so
he had that knee injury early, and it honestly affected him throughout the entire season.
Yeah, but Brock Bowers, you know what you're going to get when he's on the football field. He's just a reliable target. And the offensive line, they have made some strides. Tyler Linderbaum, one of the premier centers in the league.
Brought him over. Huge addition.
Jackson Powers Johnson. You could do a lot worse at right guard. We'll say that.
Well, that's the thing. Not only do you fix the center position by bringing one of the premier centers, but now you take your center and move him to guard. So you just solidified 2 spots on that O-line. And Colton Miller at left tackle is not terrible.
Yeah, Colton Miller, he's solid. Could do a lot worse. He is not the worst tackle in the league. He's probably in the category maybe like a top 15 left tackle in the league. And then on your right side, you got DJ Glaze. It is what it is. You can't fix everything in one offseason. We'll say that.
No, but here's the thing. When you have the number 1 overall pick and you're taking your quarterback of the future, what are the 3 things that is a quarterback's best friend? Number 1, if I see Alec Boehm hit into one more damn double play, I swear to God, I'm driving to Citizens Bank.
That's not number 1, Sam.
That's not it. Sorry. But the top three things for a quarterback when you draft one, you need to solidify your O-line. Like we just brought up, Jackson Powers Johnson, Colton Miller, Tyler Linderbaum. That's at least a solid foundation to start. Hopefully you can fix out the other guard spot in the right tackle position. But like you said, you can't fix everything in one offseason. The Cleveland Browns somehow got 5 offensive linemen, but that's because their entire offensive line were free agents.
Well, they also don't know who's going to be their starting quarterback, too.
That's another topic for another show because that'll take all night. But and then who's the quarterback's best friend day one?
Tight end.
Exactly. You got one of the top 2 in the league, and most people would say he's not 2. And then what's another best friend of a quarterback? A strong run game. We know Ashton Genty is going to be a really good running back.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, what's the fourth thing? Getting him an offensive-minded head coach. Well, Clint Kubiak's pretty good last time I checked.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of growing pains for the Raiders this year, but at least now there is something to look forward to. There's a future. Here's what I'll say to my Raider fans: you've been walking down the tunnel. You've been looking for the light for like 4 decades. The light's at the end of the tunnel now. You got your guy. Now you just got to continue to build out the rest of your roster. Now, Jack, you picked a great show to be in the comments because actually, after we talk about the AFC West, we are going to reveal our top 10 tight ends heading into 2026. So stick around for that. You'll see where Brock Bowers land on both our lists.
Mm-hmm.
But the only one, Jack, that people would make the case for is Trey McBride. And Trey McBride's a very, very damn good tight end.
Yeah. You can go back and forth with those two all day.
Exactly. And Jack, we appreciate the comment.
Very
Thank
much
you, brother.
appreciate it.
Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, Jack, Michael Mayer's the number 2 tight end behind Bowers. That ain't bad.
Yeah, and honestly, before they had Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer was gonna be their starting tight end, and he was pretty solid too. I mean, he had a really strong rookie year, but after that, brought in Brock Bowers, and the rest is history. Now he's tight end 2 on the Raiders, which isn't a bad thing. If Clint Kubiak can get really high play out of both of his tight ends, it's only going to help them.
And look, I'm not trying to knock anybody. I don't want to knock like Jalen Naylor and Tucker and all those guys, but the wide receiver room, it's not the greatest in the world.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of 2 tight end sets in Vegas this year because Seattle ran a decent amount of them last year, and Clint Kubiak was the OC last year. I could see a lot of this offense, whether it's because again, that's the other thing with Kirk Cousins that we noticed last year in Atlanta. That arm's a little. It's not what it was in Minnesota. Now Kirk wasn't. I ain't saying Kirk was ever Peyton Manning or Patrick Mahomes with his arm, but his arm, the some of it's gone. A little bit of it's gone. He's getting older. So when your arm starts to decrease a little bit in an accuracy and a strength level as a quarterback, you rely more on the tight end position. And having 2 really good ones, and Bowers, who is, in my opinion, sensational and a transcendent talent, and Michael Mayer, who is serviceable as a tight end too, and he would probably be a tight end 1 on some of the more worst teams in the league, this could be something to interestingly keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Before we continue, though, the comments are going through. We got to get these going on. What's up, Dalton?
What's up, Dalton?
Dalton, we all love some Brock. Dalton, trust me, I love me some Brock Bowers. Dude helped me on my fantasy team great for the past couple of years, even though he was banged up last year. No disagreement, Dalton. He is a stud. Jack, again, appreciate the comment, brother. We appreciate this. See, but Jack, here's the thing. We appreciate you guys because we don't have. See, this show's been awesome so far because of all the people in the chat. That's what makes our shows the best because we have great fans who bring out great points. Well, Dalton, here's the thing. It's going to kind of be the situation where when you have a young quarterback, not every quarterback should start day 1.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young is a perfect example in Carolina. I think he should have sat behind someone for a couple of, maybe the first year, maybe the first 2-3 months, and maybe those struggles wouldn't have happened. Because when I saw Bryce Young get benched in Carolina last year and he came back, that's what got the Panthers to the playoffs. You saw a different Bryce Young. Not everybody should start day 1. Patrick Mahomes didn't start the first year. Just because you're picked number 1 doesn't mean you're ready to be a starter fully. Now, there are guys that come into this league, they take the league by storm, and it's their job and it's all systems go. That's fine. But there are some guys that need to sit and learn and be developed to be NFL quarterbacks. I think
Mhm.
Mendoza is going to be a good quarterback if he is developed the right way.
Yep, I agree.
And I think Kirk Cousins is the perfect bridge quarterback because this isn't Malik Willis in Miami. You know at this point in his career what Kirk Cousins will give you. If he starts every game of the season, he will be consistent for most of the season. You know what you're
Yep.
getting in him. You didn't give some guy a 2-year deal where you're like, well, he's been a backup, but he had 2 really good games late in the year when our starter didn't play. No. Kirk Cousins has been a consistent long-term starter in this league for a long time. Having Mendoza sit, even if it is the full year, if the Raiders feel like it's for the best of their franchise, so be it.
I think he could benefit if he sits the whole year. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, first round pick, they can't. They got to throw him out there at some point during the year." Says who? It's the Raiders that won 3 games last year. Who says that he has to be thrown out there at some point in his first year because he was drafted first overall? If for the
Exactly.
overall team success, if it's better for him to not play at all this year and to be a starter in his second year next year, then so be it. Because they're still going to, I'm telling you right now, they're going to win more than 5 games with Kirk Cousins under center, if that's the case.
Oh yeah, Jack, that's what we're saying. We're saying that Cousins is the bridge to Mendoza.
Yeah.
We're just saying that I don't hate the idea of Mendoza sitting this year and letting Cousins start the year and giving Mendoza that full year to sit there and develop and learn the NFL style of offense. It's not a bad situation. Now, look, if Cousins comes out and he just flat out can't play anymore, and the offense looks awful, then you got to make the move. Sometimes you have no choice but to make that move. But I have no issue with Cousins being the starter in the beginning.
Kind of like how you
I
saw with New York, the Giants last year. They had a quarterback room with Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Jackson Dart. Ultimately, they had to throw out Dart because Russell Wilson, he looked like he forgot how to play football. He was just like fell off the cliff. Jameis
for that week.
I don't want to talk about that week.
Week 2 in Dallas was great. Wait, Seahawks, Russ.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He made sure that he put everything he had left into that one game against Dallas.
Well, hold on. In defense, was Russell Wilson great for a week, or was that just how bad the Cowboys' defense was last season?
Good point.
Now, Jack, you see, you're bringing up that your wide receiver room and your defensive tackle room was kind of neglected. Okay, but again, you can't fix everything in one off season.
Yeah. And I mean, I do like the prospect of Jalen Naylor, bringing him over from the Vikings. He's a guy who was playing wide receiver 3 behind 2 great players who honestly are both wide receiver 1s on that team. So he was stuck in a situation where he was not targeted very often, but he was still pretty productive. The yards per catch was always there. I mean, some of his best years, he had about 15 yards per catch on average. Now coming in, I think he steps into this wide receiver room as wide receiver 2 behind Trey Tucker. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he couldn't eclipse Trey Tucker either.
Trey Tucker's a guy too. Like I know it's not the greatest of examples, but Trey Tucker's gotten better each year since he's been on the Raiders. Went from first year in the league, 331 yards. Second year, 539. Last year, 4 yards off of 700. He's getting better every year. I'm not saying that's going to be your...
Yeah, asked to play a bigger role in each of those years, and he's been able to step up and answer it. And I still think Jack Betch is in line for a bigger second year. He was a rookie last year in a Chip Kelly offense that just stunk. He had 20 catches, 224 yards. They took him in the second round last year. They definitely saw something in him. And from the tape that I saw on him, he can play. He can run routes. He has strong hands. I think he'll be a good receiver for them this year as well. If that's their wide receiver trio, I think you could do a lot worse.
Exactly, Jack. You got a young team. You got a very young team that has still a lot of holes to fill. But again, it's the begin. This is the true beginning of a rebuild. It's the true beginning of a rebuild once you get your quarterback, because now you got the most position out of the way. And I will agree, your defensive tackles, there is not a lot there. I will be completely honest with you. But look, you still kept Max Crosby, who is an icon. Exactly, Jack. And look, they're still gonna. And look, you have Mendoza on a rookie deal. You don't have a lot of big money skill position players yet, so you're still gonna have money to spend in free agency. But if you look at the defense outside of the D tackle spot, you still kept Max Crosby after that whole trade got nixed. You signed Kwity Paye, and I think Kwity Paye is probably the best edge rusher opposite of Max Crosby that he's had.
Yeah.
You completely redid your off-ball linebacker spots, and you got two of the better ones out there. Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, Jack, this is coming from two Eagles fans. We are still upset that we lost Nakobe Dean. We knew it was going to happen because we drafted Jahad Campbell, but Nakobe Dean, you got a good one. And I mean a
Yeah.
good one.
He's going to be a strong commanding force in the middle of that defense. I do get
100%.
where Jack's coming from, though. You look at the defensive line group. Okay, you got good edge rushers, Kwity Paye and Max Crosby. That's a nice little duo. Those are your guys off the edge. Your interior guys, Booker, Adam Butler, Jonah Lalu. He had a solid year last year with 4 sacks. But I get it. It's a little lacking, especially with Booker as well. You know, Booker, I don't even know, did he register a sack last year? He didn't. He had 1 forced fumble.
And the secondary needs a lot of work.
I wouldn't say a lot. They do need work. Eric Stokes isn't the worst corner, but he's not a corner one. Not at all. Jeremy Chin, I still think he's a solid, strong safety. I think he's good when you play him up in the box a little bit too. Isaiah Polamalu, he's an all right guy. A little bit of a ball hawk. Last year he had 2 picks, 4 passes deflected. Kind of young, 27 years old. Again, could do a lot worse. But it's really the cornerback room for them and the defensive line room.
They got 2 rookies that are going to be very solid. And Jack just said that they brought in 4 players that were drafted. You know who they are. Traden Stukes, the second rounder. And if Jermod McCoy gets through that knee injury and he can somehow get himself back to 100%, and that knee now that was the one concern with his medical, is that they were concerned about the knee being a long-term issue. If it's not, you got a first-round talent in round 4 of the draft.
Yeah.
Because we were both.
I said that too. I loved that pick for the Raiders. I said that they won the draft because of that, because there's no loss in it. It's a 4th-round pick. If he never comes back from that injury, and let's just say he's just an average player at best, maybe he ends up being your 3rd best corner on the team because he just can't get back to what he once was. That's still a 4th-round pick you spent. That's a steal. If it doesn't work out, you don't lose anything. It's not like any of these teams went and spent that 1st-round pick on the prospect of them, and they're going to lose out on that. So this was the perfect pick for the Raiders. And also, let's not forget, they brought over Taron Johnson from Buffalo. Taron Johnson was a very serviceable corner over there in Buffalo. I mean, last year he had 6 interceptions. Oh, wait, no. 2 years ago, he had 2 interceptions. So he can take the ball away. But this Raiders team, they're really built for the future. They're still finishing the rebuild. They're not in the
Exactly. They are
beginning
building for the
stages.
future.
They're probably, I think, phasing out of the midway point of the rebuild, starting to, finally retool all the small things. And hopefully in the next year, 2 years, they will be competing for a shot at
I
this
think
AFC West division.
hopefully, because it still is a very loaded division.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and Jack, like I said, those first two names you put in there, Stooks and McCoy, those two have the potential to be very big building blocks for that secondary. All right, Ty, let's move into the final team in our AFC West predictions. Then we'll get into the record predictions for each team because we still got to get through our top 10 tight ends list before the night's over.
Let's talk about the disappointments.
Pretty freaking much. The LA Chargers look still on paper. Exactly, Jack. You don't need to rush them. There's no need to rush Mendoza when the roster is so incomplete. Chargers, interesting offseason. Jesse Minter gone as defensive coordinator. I think that is a huge loss for this team. But they do get Mike McDaniel at offensive coordinator. I think that could benefit them a lot. You look at the talent on the offensive side of the ball. You still got Justin Herbert. You still have Omarion Hampton at running back. You still have Vidal, who was his backup last year, had a big good role in that team last year because Hampton was banged up. Look at the wide receiver room, still decent. You have Gatson at tight end, Trey Harris, second-year player, Quentin Johnston, who is, a lot of concerns after his first year with the drops, has put together back-to-back 700-yard seasons.
Yep.
Still have Lab McConkey. You still have some Keandre Lambert-Smith, who's carved out some playing time last year. David Njoku, who will probably help run some of them two tight end sets along with Gatson. O-line, oh boy, good Lord, we'll talk about that in a minute.
If they can stay healthy, put a period at the end of that sentence.
And a defense that, yes, they did lose Jesse Minter as their defensive coordinator, but still, they do have some talent. Now, their D-line, they need to get a little bit better against the run. You bring in Dalvin Tomlinson, he'll help that a little bit.
Yep.
You got linebackers, still got guys like Troy Dye on this team, brought back Khalil Mack on the edge. You still have Denzel Perryman, who's just been a solid vet. Tuli Pelotu's coming into his zone as one of the better edge rushers in the league at 13 sacks last year.
Yeah.
And you still have a very solid secondary with Dante Jackson, Derwin James, Elijah Molden. Still a lot of talent on this Chargers team. So, Tyler, I'll let you kick us off. What are you thinking about the Chargers heading into this year?
I mean, I want to actually circle back to their offense and that offensive line.
Go ahead.
Yes, Jack, you're right. When healthy, they have probably the best tackle duo in the league in Rashawn Slater and Joel.
Oh, do you want me to tell you? You know how, like, for the team that a player retires, will never replace him, but you know how every year there's somebody that they get compared to?
Yeah.
You know who I think Joe Alt's the next version of, right?
Who?
65 wearing midnight green. That's who I think Joe Alt is.
Wow.
I think Joe Alt has the potential to be just as good as Lane Johnson. That's how high on Joe Alt I am.
I could see it. But I mean, injuries aside, Slater was kind of like a surprise one. I don't think many people, expected him to go down the way that he did. And definitely Joe Alt. I mean, Joe Alt kind of battled through injury most of the year last year.
He had that high ankle sprain. Just got too much for him.
Yep. So, yeah, you're right. He is a perfect comparison to Lane. High ankle sprain injury. But then you also have Tyler Biadasz now. Cole Strange, you can find worse right guards in the league. And then at left guard, you got Kayode Awosika. Not too familiar with him, but they have the important building blocks.
And
Your
they drafted
tackles,
They
Jake
drafted Jake
Slaughter.
Slaughter
Yeah,
in the second round, so he may factor into that left guard spot.
he could. He could end up fighting for that job because I think Jake Slaughter can play at any of the three interior positions.
And Trevor Penning is another guy who's versatile. He could play some guard, play some tackle. Trey Pipkins, he did the best he could at
Yeah.
tackle after Slater went down because they moved all to left tackle and Pipkins went to right. Played
Mm,
as well as he could. They just that line last year. I mean, that was if you want to name an injury on the Chargers, just name an offensive lineman.
yeah. So
Like,
I mean, as
go
it
ahead, go.
stands, they're coming into this year healthy, and if they stay healthy, they're probably going to be one of the efficient offensive lines in the league. That's only going to help Justin Herbert. So what do we always say? Justin Herbert plays worse when he's under pressure. You could say that about most quarterbacks, but definitely for Justin Herbert, it's a known fact. Amarian Hampton, he showed a lot of promise last year, getting a lot of starts early for the Chargers. Did have to battle through a lot of injuries as well. Hopefully they keep him fresh. They did bring over Keaton Mitchell from Baltimore, so they have more options in case if he goes down or Fadal goes down. So, it's important to have a running back three that you can trust on the team as well.
Another interesting wrinkle that I do like that the Chargers did was McDaniel brought Alec Ingold over with him to be his fullback. Not Chargers really didn't run with a lot of fullbacks in their offense in years past, so that's a nice and interesting little
Yeah,
wrinkle
I
with
think
Mike McDaniel coming over.
McDaniel's going to throw some different looks out there for the Chargers. I don't think this is not going to be the same Chargers that we've come to see from since Harbaugh took over there. Definitely McDaniel's going to bring a lot more interesting schemes to the offense. I think this could be maybe one of the better years we see out of Justin Herbert in regards to that as well. Receiving core, you touched on it already. Very solid. Lad McConkey, reliable receiver, good route runner. Quentin Johnson, built off of, I think he'll build off of a strong year last year. Definitely kind of stepping into that role and the expectation of him being that first round draft pick. Trey Harris, he'll be good. He'll probably be wide receiver 3. Solid couple of tight ends. Defense, interesting.
It
You bring
has the
back
talent
over.
to still be good.
It does have the talent. Some of the aging is a concern. Dalvin Tomlinson, not the youngest guy, 32. Derwin James, I feel like he's been in the league for a minute now. He's
He's
another
got a
one
big
who,
contract.
yeah, big contract. He's a guy that they've been able to rely on a lot.
We're talking about versatility.
Yeah, a lot of versatility. Pretty good at not getting injured. He's usually always on the field playing for them. They brought back Khalil Mack, 35 years old. It's hard to find a good pass rusher in the NFL.
Hey, don't do that with Jack in the
Throwback John
comments.
Gruden. Oh man, I'm sorry, Jack. Sorry,
Don't do that to Jack.
Strike a nerve. Good old John Gruden days, right? Nah, it's all right. We can talk about it because that was back when they were in Oakland. They're in Las Vegas now.
Yeah, Jack, I'm with you on Trey Harris. I think, last year, Chargers really had that nice trio with wideouts. They brought Keenan Allen back after a year in Chicago, and Allen stayed healthy through most of the year, which I find hilarious. And, the three of them really put together strong years. I think this year they are looking at Trey Harris kind of being that third wide receiver on the outside, putting him outside with Johnston and having McConkey work that slot area a lot. And I think they like Keandre Lambert-Smith a lot, too. As a Penn State fan, I watched him play. He's a pretty talented player, so I think they're hoping that those four can take care of that loaded wide receiver. Also, I want to apologize. I forgot to mention, not only do they have Tuli Pelotu and Khalil Mack. They also drafted Akeem Messidor.
Yep.
And he was part of a pretty good defense in college last year.
Oh yeah, he was pretty dominant. Yep, I'd say so.
R.J. Mickens at safety, solid player. They've got again. I brought up Elijah Molden, another very solid player. They have pieces on the defense. They were my top 10 defenses in my list last week. I am still high on the talent. I'm concerned about the loss of Jesse Minter.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I will say. I still like their defense. Jesse Minter, that departure is a little concerning for me.
Yeah, that's a fair concern. Oh.
I mean, Chris O'Leary is his replacement. He was their safeties coach in 2024, ended up going to Western Michigan to take a defensive coordinator job there, but now he's back coaching their defense. So hopefully that'll help them. I hope he can still run a decent scheme because the one thing again, the Chargers and other defense, they're stingy. They're not great at anything. They're just very good at everything. If that makes any kind of sense to you.
Yeah, that's the way that a lot of these good defenses are. Like we talk about, we both had the Eagles defense pretty high up. One thing that we didn't really mention is they did allow a good amount of yards to teams. Teams did move the football, but it was really the bend but don't break mentality of where,
takeaways.
Yeah, you might get down the field on us a little bit, but we're going to take that football away or force 3 points.
I mean, look at the Eagles game last year. We moved the ball on them very well, but they beat us. Why? Because they took the football away from us 5 times.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jack's saying, Minter's a huge loss. Agreed. I think Minter's going to do really well in Baltimore. He's giving us credit for a fair assessment on this. And then he also said McDaniel is a huge upgrade. Yeah, their offense just hasn't been good enough.
Yeah.
Over the years. And again, I don't think Mike McDaniel as a head coach. I like him as an offensive coordinator.
Yes. That's the big difference there. Some guys, they're just better coordinators than they are coaches.
That's the second biggest difference. The first one is going from Tua to Justin Herbert. That's an extreme upgrade.
And not to knock Tua or anything, but McDaniel gave Tua some of his best years where he looked like he belonged in the NFL as an elite quarterback.
Yeah. I just think there was a lot of stuff going on with that Dolphins organization. That's why that whole thing fell apart.
Oh, yeah.
And, McDaniel got his wish, too. He preferred, the Eagles want to interview him. He respectfully declined. He preferred to stay somewhere warm, which, with his playoff record, I can't blame him. If I had to travel to Kansas City in negative 16 degrees too, I would stay in LA
Let's
myself.
Just hope they can get some home playoff games this year, because if they have to go out to Buffalo, then yeah, he's going to be right back where he started.
That right there, what you just said, is the biggest outlier with this team. Talk to me when they're in the playoffs, because that team, since Justin Herbert got there, those playoff games have not been pretty. Blowing big leads, and the last 2 games have been on Justin Herbert. Now, last year, I don't know how much of that I can put on him. That offensive line was down to like its 5th string right tackle. I don't know how much of last year I can put on him. The Texans game, I can put that on him 100%. But that's the point, though. The Justin Herbert era of Chargers playoff games have been UGLY. That's it. They have not been pretty. They haven't advanced. Harbaugh was supposed to get them over that, and it still looks ugly. I'm not blaming this on Harbaugh. I'm just saying, Justin Herbert's got to start performing a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Jesus, Jack. But no, all in all, I think the Chargers are still just a very well-rounded football team. Are they elite in a lot of areas? No. I do still think they have one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Top 12-ish, depending on where you want to put them.
Oh, yeah.
Still love that O-line when it's healthy. I think Slater and all, you're not touching Herbert if those two are healthy. I don't care. I think Tyler Biadasz at center, I thought he was really good in Washington over the past couple of years. Why they released him, I have no freaking idea. Because that offensive line has such studs on it.
Yeah, they have such great options aside from Tyler Biadasz. He's the issue.
So I love the fact that, I love Giannis at center. I think they have enough on the interior. I think it's enough. Not saying it's elite. Not saying it's great. I think it's better than what they had last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Mekhi Becton was their big offseason acquisition at right guard last year. He did not play well at all. And from what reports said, it was never good from the moment he got there.
Yep.
So, Jack, I'll give you that. Is pretty funny. But, all right, Tyler, shall we jump into our predictions?
Let's do it.
All right, you're in track of the wins and losses once again, so you know what that means.
Only
We're
track and
completely
win. So,
all right, where you want to start?
let's start over in LA where we left off.
You want to start with the Chargers?
Yeah, let's do it.
I got you, Jack. I got you. All right, Chargers record prediction. Oh, gee, we start week 1 off against the Cardinals.
They're
That's
starting
a
with a
win.
win. Yep.
If they
Good
lose
start.
that game, I swear. Week 2, they're home again against the Raiders.
Jack, don't get offended if I pick the Chargers to sweep the Raiders. I'm going with a win.
All right, so we're going 2-0 to start for the Chargers. All right. Oh boy. Week 3 at Buffalo.
I think that's going to be an early loss.
Okay. Week 4 at Seattle.
Oh, man. Chargers outlook ain't looking too good. Hold on. I gotta go another loss.
All I'm gonna say right now, you better pray Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are still healthy at this point.
Yes. Oh, because you're gonna need them. Well, let's go to the next week.
He's going no offense taken. He's also predicting the Bolts to go 11-6.
Okay.
I don't mind that, Jack. All right, so where are we at, Tyler? We at 2-2?
I'm looking too hot early for him, I will say. I'm still at 2 wins here through the 4 games, so 2-2.
Week 5, home against Denver.
Loss.
Week 6 at Kansas City.
I think they lose in Kansas City too. If Kansas City loses games, I think it'll be early. I think they'll because if it hinges on Mahomes, shaking off some rust, I think anything when you get to that, after week 5 or 6 area against them, it's not going to be an easy game for you.
So do you think the Chargers could steal this or no?
I don't think so.
You have them at 2-4.
Dude, they have a hard schedule. This is not easy. I'm looking at some of these, dude, and I'm like, where are they winning games at? So I have to reevaluate what quality of football are the Chargers going to be playing here.
Jack, I will say I think Seattle will have – I still think Seattle's going to be freaking good. We did our NFC West predictions a month ago, and we still had the Seahawks going 12-5.
Yeah.
All right, so Tyler, you have them at 2-4 heading into their Week 7 bye week.
Get out at KC, though. I'd rather take them winning at home against KC than on the road in KC.
What about the Denver game? Because that was a home game. Do you still feel Denver would win that?
Denver, dude. We barely had Denver losing any games this year, and I'm pretty sure we had a win for Denver against the Chargers.
We haven't predicted Denver yet.
Oh wait, you're right. Oh my gosh,
we're in this division.
Oh, you're right. Okay, all right. You know what? Maybe they split with them. We'll go back. 3 wins with Denver, loss with Kansas City.
Jack, you're not. Jack's got a good point. He's not wrong here.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you sticking with 2-4?
No, I'll give them the Broncos win at home.
So they're 3-3 through 6 weeks.
Yes. Well, just 3-4 because they're losing to KC. So I'm at 3 wins.
We would have them at 3-3 then. Because they have a bye week 7. So through 6 games, you're 3-3.
Yeah.
If you so we're 3-3 through 6 weeks. Week 7, my God. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Week 8 at the Rams.
Loss. That's why I told you. I said it's not going to be easy.
Week 9 home against Houston. I may take them here because
let's throw them a
here's the
bone.
thing. Hold on. Here's the
all
thing.
for it.
I love the Texans defense. I do not trust CJ Stroud.
I don't either. I'm fine with that. 4 wins.
I'm going Chargers here. All right, so we're 4-4 through 9 weeks, including a bye. You're keeping track of the wins, so I don't got to do that. Week 10, the return. Loss. Okay, they were at Baltimore. You're going loss. Week 11, home against the Jets.
Blowout. 5 wins.
5 wins, okay. Week 12, home against New England.
We've given them a pretty good track record at home, but I don't think they're beating New England at home. I think New England comes out there and takes the win.
Okay. Jack said the Rams are a Super Bowl team. Yeah, Jack, they're probably a lot of people's Super Bowl teams. All right, so how many wins are we at through 12 weeks?
5.
At Tampa Bay.
I'll give them a win.
That's a win. I'm not high on Tampa Bay this year. I'm not.
So that's 6 wins.
Okay. At the Raiders.
Win. 7 wins.
Home against San Francisco.
Home against San Fran. I'll take a home win.
Okay. At Miami. Oh, the return of Mike McDaniel.
Blowout.
Trey Lance plays the whole second half.
So I'm up to 9 wins right now.
Okay. Home against Kansas City.
Home against Kansas City. So this is where I think they'll win.
That's 10.
That's 10.
Last game of the season at Denver.
Here we go. At Denver, a loss.
But will Denver be playing their starters?
Damn, we should have started with Denver first because I don't know the answer to this now. I believe so. If we're talking about currently,
we have 3 playoff
Chargers,
teams right here.
Chargers are at 10 wins here. They might have to play their starters to beat the backups of the Broncos so that they can secure a wild card spot. I think you're onto something with Denver having enough wins. They're probably like 13, 14 wins, and they don't have to play that last week. Off of that, I'll give the Chargers a win. So that puts them at 11-6.
All right. So, wow, you and Jack, Jack was spot on.
Yeah. And that's what they finished at last year, too, 11-6.
So they lose Jesse Minter, they bring in Mike McDaniel, and they are the same team they were last year.
But hopefully they make it further in the playoffs.
Dear God, help us there. All right, Ty, who's up next? Who we want to run through?
Let's go to the Raiders.
The Raiders. Okay, one moment. If somebody's phone touchscreen would like to work, I would appreciate it. All right, here we go. Week 1, home against the Dolphins.
Did we have that as a win? I think we did.
Oh, we have the Dolphins at like 1 win.
You're right. Maybe it was 2.
Give me the Raiders.
Yeah. 1-0.
Yes, Jack, you were spot on. We have the Chargers at 11-6. All right, at the Chargers, week 2, I think we predict that was a loss. One, they're still at 1. Week 3 at the Saints.
Going to New Orleans, I'm going loss.
I think we picked that as a loss. We are high on the Saints this year. It's okay, Jack. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're doing the whole division. We're running through this whole thing. All right, so we're at 1 win and 2 losses. Then now they're home against the Chiefs.
Home against the Chiefs. I don't know. Steal an early home win against the Chiefs. They've done it before. It's not like the Chiefs always sweep them.
Dude, who is guarding? Who is blocking Max Crosby on that damn freaking Chiefs offensive line?
Yeah. Huh.
I think Jack's referring to the Saints game that we were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
I'm willing to give the Raiders a sneaky win against KC early. It's like Jack's not the same way though.
It's okay. Hey, look, we can agree to disagree.
Yes, I'll give him.
All right.
I'll give him a sneaky upset win.
Yeah, well, we're going to give him the sneaky upset because we feel bad for the next 3. At New England.
Yeah. Loss.
Versus the Bills.
Loss.
Versus the Rams.
Loss.
Where we at?
Jets. Still 2 wins. 2 wins.
All right, so we're 2 and 5. I'll give a win at the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets are never going to be. We're never going to be sold on the Jets until we see it. So
yeah, so
I'll take my chances with the Raiders.
I'll go there. So at San Fran,
Loss.
Home against Seattle.
Loss.
At Denver.
Loss.
At Cleveland.
I don't remember what we did.
I don't either. I can't remember.
At Cleveland. Tempted to give Cleveland a win.
Yeah, Cleveland's defense kind of scares me there.
It does. All right, so we're still 3 wins.
Okay, so now they have their bye week is week 13, so they come off their bye week home against the Chargers.
Home against the Chargers. We have them getting swept by the Chargers, I believe.
So that's a loss.
That's a loss.
Then they're home against Denver.
Home against Denver. I'll let you call it.
I'll go loss there.
Loss, yeah. I think we're gonna have Denver sweeping them.
Home against Tennessee.
Home against Tennessee.
I can see the Raiders winning this one.
Yeah, I want to go win for that one. 4 wins.
At Arizona, win.
Win. 5 wins.
And then their final game is at Kansas City.
Loss. Because Kansas City, I believe, will probably be playing that game for a potential wild card spot.
Yeah. So what are we?
5 wins for the Raiders? Not bad. That's up from last year's 3-win total.
I have no idea what I just heard outside my window. All right, so wait, where do we have the Raiders at? 5?
5 wins, yep.
So 5 and 12. Huh?
5 and 12, yeah.
Hey, it's still growing pains.
Yeah, and that's fine.
All right, where do you want to go to next?
Let's go to Denver.
All right, let's go to those Denver Broncos. So, week 1, Monday Night Football at the Chiefs. Week 1, I'm going Denver. If I just ask on that sheet who are the Chiefs blocking with Max Crosby, who's blocking Cooper and Benito?
Very true. Yeah, we're going Broncos. 1-0.
Yeah, Jack, we were far off. We were a game apart. That's fine. Again, either way, that's stepping stones.
Yeah.
So are we going Denver week 1?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Week 2 versus the Jags.
Blowout.
Whoa. Jags won 12 games last year. Show some respect.
Last year. Keyword. Underline.
Fair enough. All right, so they're 2-0. Week 3, home against the Rams.
Ooh. This one's going to be a match. Potential Super Bowl?
Sunday Night Football.
Potential Super Bowl preview? Home against the Rams. I would take the Rams.
Okay.
Early on. I don't know, though. They got to go out to Denver.
Who do we pick in this
Playing
game?
the Mile High.
Early season?
I mean, if we know who's not going to miss a beat, it's probably the Rams. Even with all the additions they made, they still got a lot of returning players. I think I got to go the Rams here.
Okay. So Denver's 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Week 4 at San Francisco.
Win.
Whoa. You answered that way too quickly.
No, I didn't. Denver's going to win a lot of games this year.
Okay. So we are how many wins? 3?
3.
At the Chargers.
Win.
Okay. Home against Seattle.
Home against Seattle. Oh, man. That's unfortunate they get the NFC West division to play this year.
Whoa. Jack. Whoa. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on that.
Sam, I'm going to let you pick this game. Seattle, Denver.
I'll go with the champs.
Okay.
I'll go with the champs here. The versatility of that secondary, that D-line, I'll go with the champs there.
Still 4 wins.
At Arizona.
Win.
Home against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs may get their revenge here.
You think they get their revenge here?
We're in November. Mahomes is probably a lot.
True, yeah. All right.
So I think the road team wins a game each.
Okay. All right. I can see it.
What's up, Georgie?
6 wins. What's up, George?
Happy belated, my good friend.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
Hope it was a great weekend. From what your Facebook post showed, it looked like it was a very fun weekend.
Nice.
All right, so we have Kansas City beating them in week 8. So how many wins are we at?
5.
5 wins still? Okay. Week 9 at Carolina. That's a win.
Win.
Okay, bye week 10. Come off the bye against the Raiders.
Win.
Okay. At Pittsburgh.
Could be an interesting game. Do I want to go win or loss for this one? I might have to let you you take that one.
I like the Steelers. I know we picked them to have a good year. I feel like we would have picked Denver in this game.
I think we did have Denver when we did those.
So yeah, we'll go Denver here. Home against Miami.
Home against Miami. Win.
At the Jets.
Win.
At the Raiders.
Win.
Home against the Bills. I'm going to go loss here.
I'll go loss.
Here's why. I'm going to say the Bills get their revenge on Denver here, but I'm going to go Denver the next week as they get their revenge at New England.
Okay.
And then I have them losing the final game against the Chargers because I think they're resting players.
Resting players.
So how many wins?
I counted 12. Let me go back through again here. Make sure I didn't miss one. So let's see. Let's just count the losses. That'll be faster. We had them losing against the Rams,
Yes.
losing against Seattle,
Yes.
losing to the Chiefs the second time,
Yes.
losing to the Bills,
Yes.
and to the Chargers. So 5 losses. So yeah, 12-5.
12-5. Okay. I think that's very fair.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we may have to rethink about that whole resting at the end of the year because, I mean, either team, give or take, they win one or drop one, they might be playing that last game for the division.
Could be. We'll have to see. Yeah, Jack, this division, I think this division has 3 playoff teams, in my personal opinion.
I do too.
And Jack, Pittsburgh is tough, but Pittsburgh is an older team. So when the season gets longer, it's kind of.
And there's going to be games. This is the Denver Broncos that were just in the AFC Championship last year. There's a lot of games that we could flip.
Oh, without a doubt. All right, now let's get through the Chiefs so we can get to our top 10 list and get to a little our quick college football segment because this is a good show. We're having a banger show tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in with us tonight. This has been a fun show. We're having a blast talking with you guys. All right, Chiefs. Week 1, we had them losing to Denver.
Yep.
Week 2, home against the Colts.
I got to see where Daniel Jones stands, so I'm not picking them. Let's go Chiefs.
If I had to pick Mahomes early season off an ACL or Daniel Jones early season off an Achilles, I'll take Mahomes. Give me the Chiefs. Week 3 at the Dolphins.
Win.
Okay. Week 4 at Raiders.
Did we pick this as a loss?
I think we did. No, we did.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we did. Wait.
No, we did.
For who?
For a loss for the Chiefs.
Yes, we did.
Yep. So there's
all right. So 2. All right. So 2 wins. Week 5 bye week. Week 6 home against the Chargers.
I think we had them winning. We had them splitting, I believe.
Yes.
So they win
That's
here.
That's a win.
3 wins.
At Seattle. Oh, good Lord. Please sit Mahomes this week.
Loss.
Yeah, it's a loss. I'm sorry. At Denver. We had them winning here.
We gave Denver the win early on. You're right. So that's
home against the
4. Yeah, I'm at 4 wins here.
Week 9 against the Jets. That's a win.
Win. 5 wins.
Week 10 at Atlanta.
Win.
Week 11 against the Cardinals.
Win.
Don't ever joke like that again. All right. Week 12 at the Bills.
So let's see. We're already at 7 wins. Going out to Buffalo.
I don't like this stretch coming up.
Buffalo usually handles business at home against the Chiefs.
In the regular season.
Yes, in the regular season. I'm going to go loss.
You got to go the Bills here?
Yep.
Okay. I can see that. Okay. At the Rams.
Ha.
I think we picked the Rams here.
I believe we did.
All right. At the Bengals.
I'm going to go win.
Me too.
just because I trust Kansas City's defense more. So that's 8 wins.
Home against New England. I don't like that.
I'm gonna go loss.
Home against the Niners.
I want to say I give them that home win against the Niners.
Okay.
That'd put them to 9 wins.
At Chargers. Can't remember who we had win. Cannot remember who we had win this.
So they lost here.
Okay. And then they would finish the year up against the Raiders
with a win, which would put them at 10.
So 10-7.
10-7. So
all right. So
our prediction: possibly 3 playoff teams, one
all
win
within a game of each other.
Yeah, all within a game.
I don't hate it. I don't hate that. I think we did pretty well with that one. I think that's a very even division. No matter what we're talking about there, I think those teams are just very well matched.
I think that'll be very close to their final records, give or take a few games for a couple of those teams.
Oh, Jack, interesting to know.
Very cool.
We were all pretty spot on here. All right, Ty, let's get into these top 10 lists. So as everybody knows, we are running down our top 10 lists heading into the 2026 season. We kicked off last week with top 10 defenses. This week, we are doing the top 10 tight ends heading into 2026. Tyler, who wants to kick us off? Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll let you kick it off here.
All right. This may be a shocking list, but let's see how this goes.
Mine's got some shockers, too.
Wait till you see my number 10. All right. Here we go.
Ooh.
So, at number 10, I go out down to Jacksonville. I'm going with Bretton Strange. I do not like what Jacksonville did with their running back room after Travis Etienne left to New Orleans. I think we're going to see a very pass-heavy offense in Jacksonville. However, it does seem like Travis Hunter will be more of a backup option at wide receiver, and he will mostly be sticking to corner in 2026. I do not know what Brian Thomas is heading into year 3. So he's been, great rookie year, not so great second year. Parker Washington is still there, and of course Jacoby Myers both played really well last year. I think Bretton Strange, who had 500 yards last year in that Jags offense, I think he could emerge as the number 3 overall target for Trevor Lawrence, and I think he is primed for a big year. At number 9, I have Dalton Kincaid. Only reason Kincaid is so low is, of course, he does have some issues staying on the football field, does have some injuries from time to time.
Very high upside, though.
Yeah, exactly. And again, Dawson Knox is still there, so he's going to cut into some of those targets still. So I do like Kincaid at 9. At number 8, I have Dallas Goedert. I still think Goedert has a lot of potential to still be one of the better two-way tight ends in the game. Good blocker. I know he had an off year last year as a blocker. Hopefully he can get back into it this year. Had 11 touchdowns last year, which was a career high, was tops in the league for tight ends. So I think that is a very big ups for him. Also, no A.J. Brown. Mekhi Lemon, of course, is a rookie, also still battling a hamstring injury. He's missed a lot of time at practice, so he is not going to be. I think early in the season, you may see him dip a little bit in terms of what his role will be. Dondavian Wicks, I still think will have a solid year, but I still think as the number 2 veteran on that team with Devontae Smith, I think Dallas Goedert is primed for a very consistent and big year in 2026. At number 7, I have Colston Loveland of the Chicago Bears. I think he was awesome last year, especially towards the end of the season. And now with DJ Moore no longer in Chicago, I think a lot of those targets will be going between Loveland, Luther Burden, and Rome Odunze. Only reason I have Loveland at 7 is the Bears are still very known for that high run game, and I think a lot of that will still be the face of their offense. So I think they'll still pass the ball a decent amount. I just think the guys in front of him will have a lot more chances to get targets, and that's why at number 6, I can't believe you don't have this guy on your top 10 list. I'm going with Harold Fanning
Harold,
Jr.
all right. Since you had to call me out, all right?
Oh,
I
I'm
just want to
calling
say
you out.
Harold Fannin, number 11 on my list. He is
You're
right
a
there
crumb.
on the outside.
You're a crumb.
Early
Well, I'll
drafts
get
had him in there. I had to pay some respect to a couple other guys, though. So continue on with your list.
You're fine. George, if you're still watching, get your boy here. Get your boy here. But
Harold
anyway,
Fann's on track to be in the top 5 soon.
Harold Fanning should probably already be, he's right outside my top 5. But look, you look at last year in Cleveland, it didn't matter who the quarterback was. He was still putting up his numbers. Only reason the numbers took a dip late, had that core muscle injury. Still think he's going to have a big year. I don't care who's the quarterback. I don't care if it's freaking Gabriel, Sanders, Watson. I don't care if McCoy comes back as the quarterback. Harold Fanning is a guy that I am very high on. At number 5, I have George Kittle. I could easily have Kittle in my top 3. But once again, coming off that torn Achilles, I am happy to see he will be ready for week 1. But I still want to see how he comes back from the Achilles, but I still think he's a top 5 tight end in football with the way he's played throughout his career. Just hope that Achilles injury doesn't hamper it because I do love me some George Kittle. At number 4, I have Tucker Kraft. I could have easily had Kraft at number 3. However, I do. He's another one coming off that torn ACL. He's going to be ready for week 1. That injury did happen a little earlier in the season compared to Kittle's. So I think Kraft is ready to go. Plus, Dontavian Wicks, now in Philly. Romeo Dobbs, now in New England. I do not believe they got rid of those guys to center their offense around Christian Watson and Reed and Golden. I think they want to center that offense around Tucker Kraft. I think Jordan Love was playing his best football last year when Tucker Kraft was on the football field. I think Kraft is actually going to be the main target of that passing attack. And I think the wide receivers are going to just be the role players on it. So Tucker Kraft comes in at number 4. At number 3, I have Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Awesome rookie year last year. And I just think if Daniel Jones, he was on track for a tremendous rookie season. I still think he is the best tight end in his class. No disrespect to Harold Fannin. No disrespect to Colston Loveland. I think Warren was on pace for a tremendous rookie season until Daniel Jones got hurt. That is the only reason that Warren's production fell off late is because of the injury to Daniel Jones. At number 2, I have Trey McBride. Yes, I know the numbers last year were amazing. I do not trust a lot about that Arizona Cardinals team right now, including their quarterback situation. And that is ultimately why I have Brock Bowers at number 1.
Situation last year.
Either way, I don't trust it. Look, I don't trust it now. I trust the Raiders more. I trust Kirk Cousins, who's been a consistent veteran in this league. And if Mendoza comes in, we know where the targets are going to go. It's going to go to Brock Bowers. And if Brock Bowers is healthy, I think he's the best tight end in football right now. That is no disrespect to Trey McBride. McBride is awesome. I'm just currently going with Brock Bowers. That's my guy, and I love him. I love Trey McBride. I do. Dudes. Look, again, you can't go wrong with 1 and 2. You really cannot. It doesn't matter. You can't go wrong with who's 1 or who's 2. Me right now, I trust the Raiders. And not to mention, I trust the Raiders coaching staff more. I like Mike LaFleur. But if there's somebody that's going to take Brock Bowers from already a really good tight end to a great tight end, I think that could be Clint Kubiak. So that is why I'm going with Brock Bowers at number 1 over Trey McBride. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my top 10 tight end list for 2026.
Well, Sam, I got to say, I think I gave you credit last week for your list, but this week, your top 10 list sucks.
You don't even have Harold Fanning in your top 10, and you're telling me mine stinks.
You don't even have Kyle Pitts. Disgraceful.
Are you joking?
Kyle Pitts got a bigger role this year than he did last year. He almost put up 1,000 yards last year.
Before we get to your list, Jack, thank you, brother. We greatly appreciate that. That is
Jack.
what helps us continue to build what we are building here at 609. And Jack, if you come here week in and week out from here on out, it's all NFL, baby. That's all we got on the docket for the next like 7 months.
Answer his question. No, I wouldn't have him over any of our late tight ends. If he was traded, I'd probably have him in the top 15 towards the end in that mid-teens range.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like all the guys on my list, I have they're all tight end ones. Mayer would have to fight for that tight end one spot. The
Yeah.
only guy maybe I could do is Bretton Strange. But I don't sleep on Bretton Strange, I'm telling you.
No, I'm
I
not.
think
He's another one. He was in some of the final drafts as well. His name popped around. He deserves to be there. He had a really good year last year in Jacksonville.
well, all right, Mr. Adams, your turn. Let's get into this.
Throw it up there. All right, kicking things off. It was the Colston Loveland versus Harold Fannin debate. Went back and forth forever on it. Ultimately had to go with Loveland in here. 58 catches in his rookie year, 713 yards, 6 touchdowns. What I liked is how much they trusted him in a system where they had other proven pass catchers already. And he still found his way in there. Didn't get the targets right away, but throughout the season as it progressed, they trusted him more and more, and he was a key component to that offense. And now, definitely with them moving out of DJ Moore, it definitely opens up more targets for him and everybody else from Roma Dunze, you name it, Luther Burden. So I think Loveland, he's probably going to move up this list as the year goes on, but starting out, definitely number 10, I think, is fitting for him. Then moving over to number 9, I think we were kind of close in these couple of picks here. Dallas Goedert, last year in an anemic offense, didn't have the best year of his career, but it was still very solid, well-rounded. He's going to do the dirty work. He's going to block for you. He's a good pass catcher, good in the red zone. He was second for touchdown catches at 11. And I think this year in this new Sean Mannion offense, he's going to have a bigger role as one of those veteran pass catchers. So I think we're going to see him up in this top 10 through most of the season. Now, moving on, number 8, another snub from you, Sam. I can't believe it. The Mr. Reliable check down target, Jawan Johnson, for the young Tyler Shug. I get they got some receivers in that room now. Jawan Johnson's still probably going to see the ball coming his way majority of the time, even though you got a lot.
Did you hear the news earlier this evening?
I did. Jordan Tyson dealing with hamstring issues already.
He's out for the next 2 months, they said.
Yeah. So here we go, guys. It begins. I don't want to say I said it, but I called it. So, Sam, if you would like to edit your list and add Jawan Johnson back into the top 10, feel free to just say, yes, I would, and I'll allow it.
Yeah, he was like 14 for me, so no, I'm good.
14? Disrespectful. Wow.
You have Kyle Pitts over Harold Fanning Jr.
77 catches, 889 yards, 3 touchdowns. On a Saints team that had showed some potential, but they weren't competing last year. And now with all the news come out of Tyson, I definitely think he's going to have a huge role in that passing game for the second year in a row. Moving on, number 7, another one of Sam's omissions, Kyle Pitts. Something finally clicked for Pitts last year. They finally got him involved in the offense. He had 88 catches. He had 928 receiving yards, about 10.5 on average, 5 touchdowns. I mean, he finally showed the flashes that we haven't seen from him since his rookie year when he first came into the league. So, is it a little bit worrisome with the quarterback situation, with Penix, with Tua? I think Penix is probably going to be the guy heading into week 1. That's
He's
what I'm
healthy.
thinking so far. If he's healthy, exactly. It's all going to depend on that. Because if not, we might just have to default back to Cooper Rush. But no matter who it is, like we always say, a tight end's always going to be any quarterback's best friend, reliable safety blanket, and I think Kyle Pitts can be that. And I'm still high on Kyle Pitts. So that's why I have him coming in here at number 7. Number 6, again, very close to you, George Kittle. The only thing holding him back from being higher on the list is the injuries. You know, for the last few years, plays through some injuries, misses a couple of games, getting banged up. But this year, coming off a major injury, only had 628 yards, 7 touchdowns through the 11 games that he played. When he was available, of course, he is one of the best tight ends in football. I got to see how he comes back off of that injury. If he does recover from it, even I would say 90% of who he is as a player, with a pretty, let's see, what's a good word for this? A malnourished 49ers receiving room with aging Mike Evans, who, from what I've heard from training camp, doesn't look the sharpest. Deebo Samuel, whatever you're getting back out of him, and then, some rookies and everything. George Kittle's going to be leaned on a lot as long as he can get back out on that football field. Coming over, number 5. I don't know if you had him on your list, Sam. Hunter Henry?
You've lost your freaking mind. I hope you are fully aware of
not
this.
lost my mind.
Oh, you've
Hunter
definitely
Henry.
wait till this list is over.
I get that they brought in A.J. Brown, right? Drake
That's
May
the first red
still
flag.
loves throwing. No, Drake May still loves throwing to his tight end in Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry's always been one of his favorite targets since he was drafted to New England. So I don't think it's outrageous that we're going to see Hunter Henry in some capacity within the top 10. Maybe not as high as 5, but I'm not going to say that it's impossible. I get everything that we had to go through with A.J. Brown here in Philadelphia. Aside from last year with Kevin Patullo, Dallas Goedert still got his touches. He still had his production with A.J. Brown, and not to mention Devontae Smith on the team. So why am I just gonna completely exclude Hunter Henry because A.J. Brown was traded to them? Hunter Henry has played well enough to deserve to be in the top 10 list.
So you really think that Hunter Henry's targets are going to stay the same after they not added 1, but 2 new pass catchers?
Yeah, because, again...
Oh, you've lost your freaking mind.
You just said it, Sam. New pass catchers. Hunter Henry is still going to be the same guy Drake May is built to report with already.
Until somebody starts getting upset.
You know what? He can get upset all he wants. And you know what I hope? I hope Mike Vrabel tells him to go kick rocks and sit on the bench and keep it warm. If he tries to start that over there in New England. I hope he does. But do not be surprised if Hunter Henry is up there and maybe right behind A.J. Brown in targets. I think he's going to have another big year. Again, Drake may trust him. Now moving on. Good old Penn State tight end, Tyler Warren. I had him at 3 in earlier drafts, and I bumped him to 4 just because you kind of mentioned it earlier. I think Green Bay is moving towards Tucker Kraft being a focal point of that offense. But Tyler Warren, he's right up there. Last year, 76 catches, 817 yards, 4 touchdowns. Would have had a bigger year if Daniel Jones didn't get hurt. A lot of guys would have. Jonathan Taylor, too, would have had an even bigger year if he didn't get hurt. Daniel Jones getting injured derailed a lot. But I think this year, Tyler Warren, I think he's going to put himself up there in that category. He might break into the top 3 if he isn't already going to start the season in the top 3. Then moving on to Tucker Kraft. I mean, those two, I think they're almost interchangeable. Tucker Kraft, coming off of that major injury, only played in 8 games, had 32 catches, 489 yards. He was averaging about 15 yards per catch, had 6 touchdowns. I mean, he was playing on an absolute bender through most of the season, through those first 8 games. And it would have been very shocking to see what he would have finished with had he played the whole season. So I'm hoping he gets back healthy. Hopefully he's back to 100%, doesn't miss a step, and he gets back in that Green Bay offense, and he might go over 1,000 receiving. Then it brings us down to our top 2. Put them how you want. Swap them out however you see fit. They are both hands down the 2 best tight ends in football. I'd love to have either one of them on my team. You could build a franchise around either one of these 2. For me, I had Brock Bowers in here at number 2. Yes, part of the reasoning was the injury that sidelined him for 5 games last year. I get it. If he played the entire season, he probably puts up another 1,100-yard season, maybe even more. But it was also a very, again, anemic offense with Chip Kelly. A lot of stuff looked bad. I think he is going to have a much, much better year this year. And I wouldn't be surprised. We're definitely going to see him and McBride probably battling to see who could be the first one to get to 1,300 this season. Because I think we're going to see it from one of them. 2 focal points of their offenses. They're easily the best pass catchers for each of their offenses. And then puts Trey McBride for me in at number 1. 126 catches last year. He was targeted many, many times during those, what was it, like 60 plus attempts we were seeing out of
Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett under center. And over 50% of those were going to Trey McBride's way every single time. 1,239 yards, 11 touchdowns. I mean, again, you can go either way with these 2. These 2 at 1 and 2 is like how people debate the Jordan and LeBron. You can make a case for either one on any given day.
Okay. So first off, let me point out something. Jack, I 100% agree with you because it's about to get fun real quick. I'm not mad that you had Colston Loveland over Harold Fanning Jr. I have no issue with that. My biggest issue is no, George. Here, let me show you this list. There's
George
the love for Harold Fanning.
Was at 11 for me.
And what? So here's my problem with you right now. Not only did you have Harold Fanning out of your top 10, you think Kyle Pitts is better than Colston Loveland. In what universe? In what universe?
Well, let's see. Kyle Pitts is probably higher priority in his passing offense for his team. Not saying Colston Loveland isn't, but let's not act like, he's got bums around him in his receiving corps.
Colston Loveland doesn't got Bijan Robinson either.
Okay, and
Bijan is literally 60% of that Falcons offense.
I'd love to know how Kyle Pitts had 928 yards last year then.
Wow, 928. Most wide receivers can put up 928.
Yeah, wide receivers are talking about tight ends here, buddy. What did Colson Loveland put up again? I'm waiting.
What was it, like 750 or something around that margin?
It was 713.
Okay, whoa.
George,
Now you've lost me. Whoa. Tucker Kraft is going to go watch Green Bay's offense after Tucker Kraft got hurt. But hold on.
Go on.
I can give you Hunter Henry. I can give you him in the top 10. But the fact that you think that A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs aren't going to cut into his target share. Tyler, do you want to know why Drake May? He was Drake May's best friend last year? Because New England's wide receivers stink last year. They all stink.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen, right?
Stinks.
So this year, he doesn't stink. He's just not a wide receiver too. But we're not talking about Booty right now. Let's talk about A.J. Brown. Let's really hope, for the Patriots' sake, that last year, his drop-off, for me seeing him not physically being able to beat corners anymore and get separation, let's just really hope that was all part of the mental game of him checking out and not because his knees aren't even close to 100% of what they were a couple years ago.
Okay, but the Patriots didn't trade for A.J. Brown just to be there. He's going to lead that team in targets. Romeo Doubs is going to be the top three.
Lead the team in targets. And I still think that at the end of the day, Hunter Henry will probably be second on that team in targets.
All right, now, Jack, first off, two things. One, have a great night, brother. Thank you for coming and talking with us. And
I agree.
Thank you for subscribing. No, he's not. If Kyle, you want me to tell you where Kyle Pitts was for me? 16. There you go. Let's get cute with this, shall we?
16. Wow.
But Jack, thank you for subscribing to our channel. And this show is on every Monday night. So whenever you want to talk some football, come tune us in. Jack, we don't have a lot of hockey fans over here. I am a Flyers fan, but I don't follow the NHL enough to talk about hockey outside of the Flyers. So mostly on this show, we got the football covered on both the NFL and the college level. We talk a good amount of basketball when the season's going on and during the high points of their offseason. And we do have a baseball show on Wednesdays called Hitting Home. So that's our main focal points. But trust me, football talk, we got you. Hold on. I'm not even mad at that. You want to give me Juwan Johnson? That's fine. I could put him at like 10, where I have Bretton Strange. That's fine. Guys had one very productive year as a tight end. One. Don't do this. Do not do this to yourself.
Crazy.
In what universe is Hunter Henry a better tight end than George Kittle? I don't even care about the injury now. Hunter Henry over George Kittle?
Like I said, heading into the season, yeah.
Oh my God.
There's a reason why these rankings get changed if we do any mid-season rankings.
Yeah, by mid-season, Kyle Pitts will be 22nd probably.
No. By mid-season, Bretton Strange might not have a job.
Well, it's different because I actually value the tight end position that blocks. Kyle Pitts can't block a cold if he was freaking taking cough syrup.
Well, hey, if you're looking at it from aspect of blocking and catching, this could look a lot different, but
well, Pitts isn't great at that either. I'm glad he had a good year and a contract year. Now let me see what happens after you get paid the money. Thank you, Jack.
Kevin Stefanski offense, Obviously, when
Not a
Kittle's
good thing or a
healthy,
bad thing.
when Kittle is healthy, he is a top 3 tight end. He is up there right behind the emergence of Brock Bowers and Trey McBride.
If he wasn't coming off a torn Achilles, he would be over Warren and Kraft right now.
He would. He would easily be in my top 5, probably top 3. I had Kittle up there higher at one point, but the injury, I had to take it a few steps back. And another one who I noticed was not on either of our lists, Travis Kelce. I don't think Kelsey's going to have a bad year this year, but I didn't feel like he was going to have a bigger year than these other guys. I don't think he's going to have a bigger year than Fannin.
No, you can't say no. You don't have the right to say that now.
I do, because I literally said
list.
Fannin was my 11. How many times have you said, "Oh, I had this person"? Oh, but they were right outside.
I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with the fact that he had to beat out Colston Loveland when, I'm sorry, he is better than your number 8 and your number 7. Your number 10, and your number 9 are better than your 8 and your 7.
That is to be determined, and always up for debate.
Oh, we'll be up for debate, all right.
That is your unbiased opinion, and my unbiased opinion is that your top 10 list sucks.
No, your top 10 list sucks this week. This week it's you. But you know what? That was a good top 10 list. I'll give you that. You stuck to your guns, and I liked it. Jack, no worries, brother. You flooded the YouTube comments tonight. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing, and hopefully we'll see you next Monday. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. All right, last quick segment. Let's get through this real quick. We've been on for a minute now. The AP Top 25 for the preseason has been released, Tyler. And here it is. We've got, of course, Ohio State there up there at number 1. Oregon sitting there at number 2. Georgia 3. Notre Dame sitting at number 4. I guess our feelings were hurt before the season started this year. Texas Longhorns at number 5. The Indiana Hoosiers sitting there at number 6. Got Miami at 7. A&M at 8. Ole Miss at 9. Oklahoma at 10. And then there's the rest of it. Of course, you got LSU there at 11. Bama's at 13. I'm just running through some thoughts. You got Michigan at 16. Penn State at 18. Tyler, give me your thoughts on the preseason top 25.
I mean, I think it's fine for the most part. Obviously, Notre Dame, they could probably be down in that 6 to 10 range rather than top 5. But I get it, They already got snubbed from the college football playoffs. You can't make them too upset. A lot of money that comes in from there. Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, all cool. How is Indiana at 6?
How is the reigning national champions?
And Miami at number 7. Both of those teams should be in that top 5. Not saying they have to be 1 and 2, respectfully. I get that. If they're not, that's fine. But how are they 6 and 7? And especially for Indiana. Indiana's got to be at least where Notre Dame is. Flip-flop those two. Put Indiana at 4, Notre Dame at 6.
See, I'm higher on Notre Dame going into this year than I am with Texas. I'd rather flop. I would put Indiana where Notre Dame is. And
this then I push kind of a put up or shut up year for little Archie over there.
Yeah, well, yeah, it better be. The family can only get you so far in the NFL. They ain't doing crap for you in Texas.
Mm-hmm. But
some other thoughts?
Okay. Ole Miss, fine. Oklahoma, fine. LSU, all right. Texas Tech. Okay.
LSU's got a lot of pressure going on to this year. You got Sam Levitt. You brought Lane Kiffin now. He's supposed to save LSU football.
Yeah, let's see it.
Brought over a big time transfer portal left tackle over from Colorado. The LSU's going to be expected to be in that easily that top 7 range.
Mm-hmm. But I'm cool with where Texas Tech is, Bama,
I
BYU. That's
love the
fine.
fact that Alabama's out of the top 10
Yeah,
in this. I'm so
yep.
happy.
BYU's fine. USC's fine. Washington getting a little early love, I guess you could say. They'll probably be a team that moves around in that top 25. Might get bounced out eventually. SMU, same thing. Penn State, that's fine. Gives them a good starting point, especially with all the turnover of the, recruiting classes, returning players, coaches.
Portal
Tennessee,
additions.
Tennessee's fine there. At 20, they got an opportunity to work their way up higher. Utah's always pretty solid. That's a good spot for them. Got Iowa State. Is that Iowa State or just Iowa?
Iowa.
Just Iowa. Okay. You got Houston, Louisville, and
Missouri at 25.
that's fine. You know, Teams that you'll usually see around that 21 to 25 range. I'm fine with it. It's
I
just
just
really
love how
the top 10 teams definitely need some retooling.
the top two teams got waxed by Indiana in the playoff last year. And yes, I understand Ohio. Like, oh wait, I'm sorry. No, Ohio State never got back to Indiana because they beat them in the Big Ten title game. They
Mm-hmm.
got waxed by Miami. So the two teams that got waxed by the final two teams are in the top two, but those two teams are at 6 and 7. Oh, they've lost a lot of players. Okay, and Ohio State and Oregon didn't.
Yep.
I love that. Like, oh, we can't base this off last year. Then what the hell are we basing it off of? The national champion isn't the best team. So the team that was the best team in college football last year isn't worthy of being the top team in the country going into day one? What are we doing?
Basically.
But no, I like LSU at 11. There is a lot of pressure on, again, like I said, Lane Kiffin. He's expected to save that program and get them back into that national title contending stage. A lot of work to do. I like them starting out at 11. I think they'll work their way up. I love Bama at 13. I don't think they sniffed the top 5 this year. I like where USC landed too. I think USC could have a quiet, good year. And we keep the show unbiased, like we say. I think Penn State at 18 is generous. Of course, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you have a lot of transfer portal guys coming over. You're going to have a lot of veterans on your team. You have a lot of key guys coming back from last year." I agree. And I will say Matt Campbell did luck out this year for Penn State. We do avoid Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana this year. We don't play any of those three.
Wow.
Our biggest competition, we got to go to Washington. We play them. That'll be a tough game. We got to go to Michigan. We usually don't fare too well out in Ann Arbor, so that'll be a tough game. And we also have USC, but that's at home. So, we do have a lighter schedule this year, but it's a very good year for Campbell to get this program going in the right direction again. I am very excited about this year for Penn State football. Probably the most excited I've been in about 4 to 5 years because I now see something different. If anybody, I've seen a lot of the upperclassmen that came back from last year's team talking how personal Matt Campbell gets with his players, how much he cares about them. And I'm not saying that James didn't, but I think something happened over the past couple of years between James Franklin and the athletic department. Just something wasn't right the past couple of years. Seemed that there was a lot of tension. And I'm hoping with the additions they made to the coaching staff, the players they brought over in the portal, the few recruits that they did keep that came in this year, hopefully they could turn this thing around. But again, they have a very good opportunity this year because of the fact that they are avoiding the three best teams in the Big Ten. I think Penn State I think this could be a 10-win team easily. 3 tough games, but the rest I think are very winnable. So I'm very intrigued. And again, I'm very intrigued by LSU this year with Lane Kiffin, seeing how that works out. I think Indiana is going to be fine. They got Hoover in the transfer portal. He'll be the new starting quarterback. Brought Nick Marsh over from Michigan State at wide receiver. I think that's going to help them fill some of the voids left by Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt. They also have another kid over there who was there last year who was really good. They'll help fill those roles. Oregon's always good. It doesn't matter. Dan Lanning always is doing a good job there. And again, I get Ohio State. They're Ohio State, but the fact that they're one is a joke. I'm sorry. The best team in the country was the best team in the country on the final day of the damn season last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say. You got any other lingering thoughts on this?
Well, that's about it.
Get me to football season. I don't care. Give me the high school football. I just want football. That's all I want. But with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap up tonight's episode. Long episode tonight. Thank you, everybody who tuned in tonight. Thank you, everybody who commented on the Facebook side. Thank you, everybody who commented on the YouTube side. Just a quick heads up. Birds of the Gridiron off this Friday, hitting home off this Wednesday. We'll have DA After Dark tomorrow, as George put in the comments earlier. We're going to have some more fantasy football stuff to talk about this week. We're just continuing our fantasy football coverage heading into the season. But thank you, everybody who tuned in tonight. Of course, Jack, I know you had to go earlier, brother, but thank you for commenting so much on the show. Thanks for hitting that subscribe button. Each show, guys, our subscriber count keeps growing. If you are enjoying these shows, please hit that subscribe button on the YouTube. Hit the like on Facebook. Hit the like button on the shows. It helps us grow this community even more. You're helping us build something special here at 609, and we greatly appreciate it. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night for DA After Dark to talk some more fantasy football stuff. For Tyler Adams, I'm Sam Nelson. Have a good night, everybody.
The following has been a presentation of 609 Sports Talk Radio.
Sam, what did you do?